your home for Kings Talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
Turn me up. We're all the way up. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. And man, oh man, I know everybody. Tyrese Haliburton doing his thing the way that we've seen before. I just want to say kudos to him, man. I'm going to try my best to not have the same conversation that has been had really for 2 playoffs now, right? I will say last season was a little different because, number one, they were dealing with injuries. The teams that faced the Pacers, De'Aaron was still on the team. You felt like, hey, well, if you had Malik and Kevin Huerter and a decent version of Kevin Huerter, the Kings might still be playing. They got some good breaks. You never know. But this season is different. This season, as we talk about the small market finals, this is how you power through the small market. This is how you create moments. And will those moments last forever? I don't know, right? You look at the crazy we just played Friday Fun and Games with Jason, and Giannis did stuff that we've never seen before in that finals. And it transcended, I think, his career. I think he was already an international superstar. Some of that comes from his background, obviously being international. But then Giannis did take that next step. And we saw all of that happen from a smaller market. Now Indiana with Tyrese Haliburton. Now this thing is far from over. And now Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has an opportunity to create moments, right? An opportunity to create moments. We can take it to the Olympics. And I know the world has gotten closer to the U.S. when it comes to basketball. Obviously, they haven't caught them, but it's gotten closer. Steph Curry, some of those games, some of the things that we saw, Team USA didn't really have any business being down or even being close in some of those games. No disrespect to the teams that they faced, but because of it, they created moments. Team USA created moments. That's why that Netflix show did so well. That's why everybody was watching, right? And I'm not saying you're playing with your opponent or anything like that. I'm not disrespecting them. But when a game is close, even if there has no business being close, you can create moments. And I'm just talking about that from the Thunder point of view. That's no disrespect to the Pacers. What 24 turnovers, whatever it was for the Pacers. The Pacers, and that's what Pascal Siakam said, they had 25 turnovers, it says, for 11 points. Okay? So the Pacers are saying we could play much better. Both teams could play better. The Oklahoma City only turned it over 7 times. So both teams feel like they could play much better. But this is how you give yourself an opportunity to create moments. And Tyrese Haliburton, like I said, there's nothing more to say. He's doing things. There's a compilation of all of the comebacks that the Pacers have had. They just continue to do things that we've never seen before. Teams were 0-182 in the finals entering Thursday in this scenario, right? The scenario, they were trailing by 9 or more points in the final 3 minutes of an NBA Finals game. Teams were 0-182 since 1971. And now they're 1. We did the same thing when they did this in the last series against the Knicks. It's just stuff we've never seen before. Like I said, look at this. I have all this. Indiana up 3-1 in the series. Milwaukee was up 7 with 34 seconds left. Indiana won that game. The Cleveland Cavaliers, Indiana was down 7 with 46 seconds left in game 2. Indiana won that game. Indiana was down. This is the famous one. Indiana was down 9 with 52.5 seconds left in the game. Indiana won that game. And last night, Indiana down 9 points, 108-99 with 2 minutes, 36 seconds left. Indiana won that game. And Tyrese Haliburton, I mean, he had me geeked. It was very slight when he's dribbling to his right. He kind of looks at Pascal. At first I thought, was he trying to pass to Pascal? Or did he want everybody to think he was trying to pass to Pascal? Very slight, takes the shot, gets it done. This is how you create moments. And honestly, as far as the Sacramento Kings thing, and this is just how I feel about it, I don't think we deserve to spend airtime talking about the Kings. I know we're the flagship, but as it pertains to, oh my goodness, if they had traded, the Kings are at home, dude. The Kings are sipping wine in Napa and doing a bunch of cool stuff that I wish I could be doing if I were a millionaire. Don't get me wrong. But I'm not going to sit here and talk about Tyrese Haliburton. He is above the Kings. Like I said, after he beat the Knicks on the national stage, he's out here trolling the Knicks. Tyrese Haliburton's not even thinking about the Kings. So it's damn near time that the Kings stop thinking about Tyrese Haliburton. From a fan perspective, from a front office perspective, from an ownership perspective, yeah, they need to have, remember that nightmare with Kevin Durant where he wakes up with night sweats? That's what the ownership of the Kings need to wake up with every single day. Every single day. To be reminded that you messed this whole thing up. Not because you traded Tyrese Haliburton, because you had no clue what to do after you traded Tyrese Haliburton. Trading Tyrese Haliburton is fine. It's more, to me, what's going on with the Pacers says more about the Pacers and that front office and that ownership group than it does about what Tyrese Haliburton would have done with the Kings. I have no clue if he is this with the Kings. Maybe by the end of the series, if they pull it off and they beat the Thunder, maybe I will be willing to say, oh yeah, he would have been this anywhere. He would have been this anywhere. Maybe. But I am still not there yet. It is still more so about what the Pacers have done and Tyrese Haliburton versus stick Tyrese Haliburton on. I just think situations matter. He wears the jersey of a guy where situations matter. Brock Purdy. Situations matter. So I don't think that Tyrese Haliburton, I believe he can elevate your team, don't get me wrong. But if you look at it as a pie chart, I don't know that you could throw Tyrese Haliburton on the Blazers tomorrow and they're doing this. Maybe they make the playoffs. I don't know. It's the West. Situations matter. And the Pacers, it was a perfect storm. They hit on what they needed to hit on with Tyrese Haliburton. And in addition to that, they hit on everything else. Andrew Nemhard, welcome back to the show. Andrew Nemhard, this is the Andrew Nemhard that Whitey Gleason convinced me to sell the farm for. He had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I'm going to go Stephen A here, looking like the late, great Gregory Hunt. He was tap dancing. That was COVID separation on some of those threes. Andrew Nemhard, welcome back to the show. Because he was balling. And you got to have a short memory in the playoffs. And that's exactly what Andrew Nemhard had. By the way, on the Thunder side of things, Mark Daigneault, what are you doing? What are you doing? I know you lost to the Pacers. That was one of the only Eastern Conference teams that you lost to. I know you lost to the Pacers. But why in God's name are you not starting Isaiah Hartenstein and deciding to go with Cason Wallace after you haven't even played a game yet? You're playing at our house. You gotta be flexible to us, not the other way around. So I think that was the first piece of this. And a lot of people joke about Rick Carlisle and his mind games. Rick Carlisle will have a presser and talk about the 11th dude on another team's bench and really build it up as if he's worried about that guy. So Rick Carlisle, he's really good at that. Mark Daigneault's still a young coach. Like I said, Thunder they might wrap this up in 5. Don't get me wrong. But why in the world are you changing your starting lineup when you've been the best team in the NBA? The only team close to you record-wise got sent home by the Pacers, but they're not even there. So why are you doing that? So that was the first kind of mind game that I think the Thunder lost. Then you have the Pacers who they are comfortable, just like that meme, right? Just like that meme where you lean forward, okay? And all right, now it's time to try. That's the Pacers after the 2 minutes. Okay. And the G Money on the SAC chat, because people don't like to listen, saying he's a difference maker on any team. What are you talking about? We're still doing clown emojis in 2025. That's cute. Yeah, I said the Blazers, I'm not sure that they'd be here. I didn't say he's not a difference maker. By the way, is it just so hard to clean the wax out of your ears on a Friday? Why is it so difficult? I don't understand. So Tyrese Haliburton and what he has done says a lot about himself, obviously. And I saw Tyrese, his daddy, and Shay and SJ's daddy taking pictures. It's beautiful. I love to see it. But it says just as much, if not more, about what the Pacers were able to do. What the Pacers were able to do, what they hit on. And some of it, yeah, I'm going to say it. We can use the word luck. I know some people don't like that word luck. Some of it is luck. Some of it is destiny. And I live in the world where multiple things can be true. Did the Pacers get a couple good breaks here these last couple years with injuries? Yes, absolutely. Have they played out of their mind and above expectation? To me, what happened last night kind of blows up all the other conversations about the Pacers, right? It's just one game. But, oh, well, they didn't have to face this. They didn't have to face that. And I've been that guy. But you went into the Thunder's house where we had a panel of three guys that love basketball. And Chris Watkins, Brendan Nunez, Frank Cardicelli, you had to twist their wrist, twist their arm to get 5 games out of them. 5 games. And maybe it only goes 5. I don't know. But nobody, and Vegas agrees, nobody had the Pacers doing anything like this. He is undeniable. He is inevitable. Kyle, we got the sounder ready because we're going Thanos here. We're going Thanos here. And G Money responded on the SAC chat. Apparently I don't think I can say it on the air, but G Money's having some fun on this Friday, and hell yeah. Why not? On the other side, let's continue to talk about the NBA Finals. And there is a question that I will ask, and somebody DM'd me on social media. Allen, we're going to talk about what's worse, keeping or not taking Luka or trading Haliburton. I said, we've done that show. We've done that show. My favorite is how this thing will never go away. You'll get comments. I got a comment last night from a nice-looking gentleman, probably in his 50s. And he said, maybe I was going to do an old person voice, but I'm about a couple years away from that, so I'm not going to do it. Maybe they should have kept Haliburton and traded De'Aaron. That was from, I might pull up his name, some 50, 60-year-old man on Twitter. So it's never going away. But if you're a Kings fan, direct all that energy to the Kings organization and how you want to protect your fandom moving forward. It's only you can do it. And I know that sounds crazy coming from someone who gets paid based on people listening to a show that is a majority Kings show. But it is on you to protect your peace and to protect your fandom. Because I know this hurts. I know it stings. I've only been out here for a couple years, and it stings. I wasn't even covering the team when Haliburton was on it, and it stings. And last season, you had Luka in the finals. So I know it stings. So figure out what it is and how you want to approach your fandom moving forward. That's what I'm telling you here on a Friday. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
I am inevitable.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia. I got a tour of their headquarters. I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
Rebound, Indiana. 8 seconds to go. The Pacers are not going to call a timeout. Haliburton has it with 3, driving with 2, pulling up, and hitting with 0.3 of a second to go. How many more times can this team do that?
Sweet baby.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Taking you up to 2 p.m. Allen Stiles. Kyle Ledbetter behind the glass for us today as we break down everything that happened last night, everything that we think is going to happen moving forward. And I'm just checking here because a lot of people were joking about this, and everyone is saying it's different, right? Everybody's saying this is the Paul George finals. This is a lot of people's finals, if you will. This could also be the Domantas Sabonis finals.
Could technically also be the Victor Oladipo finals.
Yeah, this could be the Domantas Sabonis finals.
There's a lot of history between these two teams.
So what we have here in college, we have the sound from Tyrese Haliburton on taking things personal. But what we have here is a player in Tyrese that Kyle played the sounder as we went to break.
I am.
Thank you.
Inevitable.
Your team, that is Tyrese Haliburton when your team is up double digits with about a minute left.
I am inevitable.
You know, the chances of us being here right now are literally 1 in a million. Like, someone did the calculation of the win probabilities of all 4 of these crazy Pacers comebacks, which is, if I remember correctly, the Game 5 where they were down 7 and with 30 seconds left against the Bucks, Game 1 against the Cavs down 9 with 2 minutes left, Game 1 against the Knicks down 13 with 3 minutes left, and Game 1 of this finals down 9 with 3 minutes left. The odds of them winning those 4 games are literally 1 in a million.
It's
and
ridiculous.
They've won all of them.
It's ridiculous. Like I said, I read them off over and over and over again, just like Marshawn. They continue to do this. Now, it's not a minute. Some of them are a minute, right? They wear you down, and then it's 7 points with 50 seconds left, which feels like it's safe unless you are the Sacramento Kings.
The Bucks, it was like 30 seconds.
Yeah. And they're taking care of business over and over again. So now, and we can preface it like this. Does anybody feel differently about the series? I joked with Jason Ross that I didn't have the stones to pick the Pacers, even though I thought it would have been interesting because I can be a bit of a contrarian, and everyone was not even. I was being a contrarian, even saying it would last 6 games. That's how ridiculous of a favorite the Thunder still are. I would say if we can check the odds right now. I'm sure nothing has changed too much. But moving away from Vegas, not like the A's, but moving away from Vegas, what changed your mind, or did anything change your mind about the Pacers' chances in this? So this is what's going to happen. And I am going to go back to Vegas because I'm going to go prop talk here. Hammer Chet Holmgren's rebounds. Hammer, no, turn it off. Hammer Isaiah Hartenstein's rebounds. That's it. Now turn it off now, Kyle. That's it. Because everything is going to kind of teeter to the other side, and Dagnall is going to say, man, yeah, that was kind of stupid. So I expect both of his bigs to get plenty of time tomorrow night. Or excuse me, next game. So I'm looking here. Hartenstein played 17 minutes. He had seven or 9 rebounds. Chet only had 6. Yeah, those guys, Chet only played 23 minutes. One of those guys, I don't know if both of them will go over their rebound lines, but one of them is cooking them. And I think it'll probably be Chet. I mean, Chet played 23 minutes. I know they're worried about the switches, but it's not like the Pacers. It's the pace of the Pacers, no pun intended. It's not like you have to worry about a bunch of ISOs on the Pacers.
Yeah, I was really surprised by the decision to switch up what they were doing. And maybe you make the point like your team is so good that you, or maybe, everyone's saying they're so good, but maybe you look at it like we still have to coach and we still have to try and make adjustments. Mm-hmm. But man, I was surprised by some of the choices they made going up against the Pacers. And it's not like they didn't work. They were still up 15 points with 9 minutes left in the game. They were playing great the whole way through. It's just when it came down to crunch time, they probably should have had Holmgren and Hartenstein in the game, or at least, not both of them on the bench.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. And, Shea went up there and said it's just one game. We were curious what was going to happen against the Nuggets. And, he had that smile. And right after that, Shea took care of business. So we understand that this thing is far, far, far from over. I think that it does give me the stones to say the Pacers have a shot. I mean, I'm not going to pick the Pacers. I'm not going to super stone up and stand on business and say the Pacers are going to win it. But this is what we talked about, Kyle. You had Jalen Williams at 17. So my path to the Pacers winning was Jalen Williams going cold. He had 17, so and he was 6 of 19, not great efficiency.
No, bad game.
1 of 4. So he still put up 17, but it was kind of in spite of everything else. So I said Jalen Williams has to go cold. And yeah, obviously it's got to be more than Tyrese and Pascal Siakam. I know that's their balanced offense, but I want to say something right now. And you know what I'm going to say. It's time to spin the block. All of y'all that were roasting me during the trade deadline about my fellow Atlantic 10 brethren from Dayton. Shout out Temple, shout out Dayton, Atlantic 10. I don't even know who's still in the Atlantic 10 anymore. My brethren that y'all wanted to roast me on. Obi Toppin, welcome to the big show, fella. Welcome to the big show. 17 points, 5 of 8. Downtrodden, kicked out of Madison Square Garden. He went into Madison Square Garden and somebody said, Obi, we should have traded you. He said, pull up to the hotel. I'll give you the Addy. Pull up. Obi Toppin wasn't good enough for the Kings based on calls we got, texts we got. Allen, come on. Obi Toppin just put up 17 in the finals. In the finals against the Thunder, Kyle. And he was not good enough for the Kings, according to our loyal listeners. I should be wearing an Obi Toppin jersey right now in purple and black.
We need to buy you one of those. We just need to get you an Obi Toppin jersey.
And I'm going to spin the block on the round table. Frankie Cardicelli, Brendan Nunez, Chris Watkins, Obi Toppin. They used to roast me at the media tape. Whitey Gleason, Matt George. All of y'all, you know what I'm talking about. We'd be sitting at the media table, enjoying a nice meal. And I'm telling y'all, look, man, Obi Toppin, nobody. Everybody want to make fun of Allen. Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin had 17 in the finals. He was 5 of 8. He had 5 rebounds as well. Stop playing with me, man.
Thunder in 5?
It's not. No, it's still Thunder in 6 to me. But I'll tell you what.
Come on, man. You gotta go all in now.
Fine. I'll do it. I don't give a hell. It's Friday. Give me the Pacers. Give me the Pacers in 6. Give me the Pacers in 6.
Look, I said yesterday Thunder in 4.5, and what I meant by that is only if some Tyrese Haliburton dark magic happens will the Pacers win one game. I didn't think it would be the first game of the series.
Yeah.
That is crushing for Oklahoma City. I'm not saying Oklahoma City is going to lose the series. For all the people who picked Thunder in 4 and Thunder in 5, they should still be able to win in 5 or 6. But that is a win by the Thunder 999 times out of 1,000.
But that's what happens.
Which we had prepared for this could happen. That doesn't mean it's over for Oklahoma City. I'm just stunned it happened in game 1 because the Pacers can go into game 2 like they did against the Knicks and say, if we win this game, they're deflated if they can't pull that one out.
Father's Day is coming up. Who is buying me an Obi Toppin jersey? That's all I want to know. Father's Day is coming up. I need my Obi Toppin jersey, and I need it pronto. On the other side, I wanted to answer that DM that I got on Instagram from a listener of the show that said, Allen, you want to talk about what's worse, Luka, not taking Luka or trading for Haliburton? I said, hey, we've done that before, but I have a new variation of it. Are we living in a different world now, and are we asking the wrong questions as it pertains to Luka and Tyrese? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave here for American Energy, and oh my goodness, I'm born and raised here. I know it gets hot, but my goodness, we're already seeing 100-degree days. Listen to me. You do not want your system to conk out in the middle of June or July or August with one of those big 100-degree stretches. You want to make sure you're good all summer long. And my friends at American Energy Heating and Air can do that with a $24.50 tune-up right now. That's half price. And if you need a new system, $3,500 off, up to $3,500 off in rebates for qualified systems. They've been around since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Call them right now, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Louis C.K. in an all-new show, Ridiculous 2025 Tour.
When I was younger, you had to go in the bank. Remember that? You had to go inside the bank. Now you look in the bank, you're like, what are those people doing in there? Are they cleaning? The money's out here.
Friday and Saturday, June 13th and 14th, 8 p.m., the venue at Thunder Valley. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Louis C.K. live on stage.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
Get ready for a night out with Jordan Davis. It's Country in the Park 2, Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Along with the special guests, Mitchell Tenpenny, Locash, Vincent Mason, and Averyana. Make it a family day out with food trucks, games, dancing, and more. Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo with Michelob Ultra. Tickets are available now at CITPFest.com.
Did you know addiction to drugs like meth or cocaine is a disease and not a choice? But getting help is. If you have stimulant use disorder, you, your family, and friends may have a lot of questions, including where to start. Choose Change California can help. Make a change today and find a proven treatment option for you at choosechangeca.org.
Shoot it immediately. Caruso from the near side hash. Flips it toward the goal, and Turner tipped it. The game ends with Indiana winning 111 to 110 on the 1 to 100 scale of improbability. This was, 117? I was going to go with 1,000. Simply shocking.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140.
on Sacktown Sports.
Could the Kings go 3 for 3, as in 0 for 3? AP on the Sack Chat is saying it's going to be worse when De'Aaron Fox goes to the finals next year. Look, I mean, it's great content for me. I'm sorry. I mean, it is. If De'Aaron Fox goes to the finals next season, what if it's De'Aaron Fox versus Haliburton? Okay, never mind.
I think
and he beats Luka. Oh, I can't.
I think the crazier question is what is worse, the Luka, Tyrese, De'Aaron Fox trifecta, or the last generation's Klay Thompson, Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum trifecta?
This is way worse.
I mean,
this is way worse.
To watch the Warriors be that dynasty, though, that's got to kind of sting.
This is way worse.
The Tyrese one is worse because you had him in the building, which you can't really say about Luka, but I understand why everyone does the Luka thing, because it was Marvin Bagley or Luka, and they get to be the Sam Bowie over Michael Jordan or Greg Oden over Kevin Durant for this generation.
So I wanted to take this here, right? Like I said, I love when people reach out on social media. You can find me on Instagram at _Styles Files, Styles with an I, and people will hit me up and ask me questions. You also get to see my life in the Nokomis when I see, goats that I thought were sheep and funny things like that. And somebody hit me up and they said, Allen, can we talk about kind of the same thing that we've talked about? What's worse for the Kings, not taking Luka or trading Haliburton? And I responded and I said, I feel like we've talked about that before. So I want to take it here. Is there any world at all? Any world at all? And these are two different things, to be fair. So we can use both. Is there any world at all where Tyrese Haliburton ends up being better and or having a better career than Luka Doncic? That is something I don't think we've ever talked about, because Luka comes in, he is an MVP frontrunner. He's doing things under the age of 25 that we've never seen. Obviously, Luka's a better player. And Tyrese is cool. He passes a lot. It's cute. He's got a weird-looking jump shot, but it goes in. Him and the Pacers in the East, okay, they've done some things. But we never really thought about the question of, wait, could Tyrese actually be better than Luka or have a better career? And my answer to that is, I mean, obviously, if they pull this off, they've both gone to the finals now, right? Now that's career, not personal accolades. Obviously, Luka has him beat there, but they've both gone to the finals now. If Tyrese wins this thing, and I don't think he'll get any type of Eastern Conference kind of screwed over. They gave it to Pascal. I know Pascal was very deserving. And we get that. It came off as very Steph Curry-esque to me, the smartest guy in the room. No, we got to give it to Pascal. They win this thing, Tyrese is getting, unless it's Obi Toppin, Tyrese is getting finals MVP. So if Tyrese goes up with a championship and a finals MVP, and I think it does have to be that, the bridesmaid thing in sports, I wish it mattered more, but it doesn't. And I grew up with we didn't have participation trophies. Well, we did, but they were very small. And I didn't like that, right? I wanted the big boy. And nobody really cares that much about finals appearances. And that's not just in the NBA. Nobody cares that Jared Goff went to a Super Bowl. Now, people care that Joe Burrow did, because people really like Joe Burrow. But nobody cares that Jared Goff went to a Super Bowl and lost. They don't care if you got there. Nobody cares that Colin Kaepernick went to a Super Bowl and lost. They don't care if you lose, right? So Tyrese gets to the finals and loses, albeit to one of the best teams we've seen in a very, very long time, and had crazy moments. I would say Tyrese, just off the top of my head, not trying to be prisoner of the moment, but the moments that Tyrese has had, I would say has outshined Luka's run last season. But if you lose it, if you don't win the whole thing, I think it's okay. Well, they both taken their team the same distance, and Luka has just more of the personal records and accolades, so it would still go to Luka if they lose, right? So then going in the next season, I would say Luka still got the edge. But is there a world where they say they're going to go into the luxury tax, which is interesting because are you going into the luxury tax to grab somebody else and get better? Or are you going to go beam team here and say, no, I think Andrew Nembhard is going to take it. Now, they were younger than when the beam team did it, but we think what we have is going to continue to get better. Miles Turner is who he is. So I don't know what that means for the Pacers, but I don't know that we've entertained enough the idea of not just what's worse in the eyes of the Kings, but could Tyrese actually have a better career or be viewed at any point in time as a better player than Luka? Because I don't think up to this point he ever he hasn't.
No. Here, I'll answer the question for you here. It was specifically worded, is there any world where Haliburton ends up either being better or having a better career than Luka? Mm-hmm. Being a better player than Luka? No. There is not Tyrese Haliburton, there is nothing he can do the rest of his career that would get him to be as good of a player as Luka Doncic.
But what about viewed as?
Better career? Yes, I think Tyrese can accomplish that. But that is a mostly winning-based argument.
Isn't this, and I might sound crazy here, isn't this kind of Steph Curry and LeBron, right? Is it similar, right? Because if Steph gets number 5, he will have a better career. That's tough, but people want to put Steph in those conversations. But a lot of us would say, well, Steph, and I grew up in the Bay, but Steph has never been he's had better seasons than LeBron, but I don't know that Steph has ever been a better player than LeBron. I don't know. I feel that it's more realistic that we could at one point, because what did Nico know? I don't know that it's a full-gone conclusion that Tyrese Haliburton will never be viewed as a better player. I still think there are enough question marks with Luka and with the combination of what we're seeing from Tyrese that it is not even Steph and LeBron to me. I think that there's a chance.
I'll give you another example, but first I will also point out, we forget that during Luka's finals run, he averaged a 34-point triple-double.
And that's completely fair and to call out prisoner of the moment.
Yeah. And Luka averaged a 34-point triple-double during his finals season.
Yeah.
Tyrese Haliburton, while having an all-NBA season, wasn't even the conference finals MVP.
Right.
So let's not say these are apples to apples in terms of playoff runs.
And that's why those awards are so annoying to me, because the fact that you just did that is annoying because it shouldn't count against Tyrese, but it will.
Well, I'm not saying it should count against. I think it should count against Jason Tatum. I don't think it should count against Tyrese because we have the moments, right? Siakam can win the award, but we have the moments of Tyrese throwing the choke or Tyrese coming back against the Cavs. Because we have the playoff moments, I think we're going to remember this playoff run more fondly for Tyrese. With the Luka thing, here's the comparison I was going to make. I think instead of LeBron versus Steph, because both of them are winners, I think the better comparison is James Harden versus, let's call it Kawhi Leonard. And I know Kawhi and Tyrese are not the same, but the idea is their career. James Harden is undoubtedly a better player. Even if I made it Chris Paul, let me make it Chris Paul instead of Kawhi Leonard. James Harden invariably has a better career.
Okay.
But I'm sorry, James Harden is the better player, but does he have the better career? That's more accolades based than it is anything else.
I cannot believe you went with your boy Kawhi, because I never defend Kawhi, and that just took a turn that I don't want to take it there. So I will, if anybody's listening right now, I am not agreeing with Kyle per se. I am just powering through because we're up against it.
Yeah.
Because Kyle has opened a whole new can of worms. But to get back on the conversation of Luka and Tyrese, and we can continue it on the other side. At 916-339-1140. It's a Friday, dang it. Somebody got paid. Let's get these phone lines open. If you want to talk Tyrese, you want to talk Kings, you want to talk Luka, what has hurt for you the most? But yeah, I think that we're not talking enough about the fact that I think Tyrese could be better than Luka. So when somebody asked me what was worse, missing on Luka, I think people will say missing on Luka because we all assume, well, Luka's going to be the better player, is my whole point. And I think he will be, but this is making me question that. I got reminded, and thank you to Chicken on the Sack Chat, didn't do the hint yet for the trade candidate of the day. And I'm in such a good mood between Obi Toppin dropping 17, Tyrese just getting to watch a great game. I'm in a great mood, man. And you know what? Kyle said to me, do you want to do it? Do you want to have some fun? Now, some people are going to tune in for the first time and they're going to say, these guys are off their rockers. And that's fine. But just know, here are the hints. It's going to be a fun hint today. Point guard, champion, and it's something you do on a hot summer day in Sacramento. Where do you go and what do you do when it's 100 degrees in Sacramento? Hey, I want to do this. Point guard, champion, and if I say one more thing, it's going to ruin it. I will say this, Eastern Conference on a bad team. That's it. But there's a real hint here that I am avoiding. 20 minutes, we get to a very, very fun trade candidate. It's something that I do think seriously we should at least consider. I know the roundtable would laugh me out the room, but damn it, they ain't here today. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your boat, boat wins.
What are you going to do? Take the boat out for a spin or go mail something? Boat wins! Are we cleaning the patio or taking the boat out fishing? Boat wins! Are we skipping that eye exam to go sailing? Boat wins!
Rescheduling eye exams can be a nightmare.
All right, fine. Eye exam, then boat.
Yeah!
With Progressive, you can bundle your boat with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings on your boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Are you thinking about buying a new car? Well, maybe you're on the fence. Let me help you out. Kyle Draper here from Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. From the first time I stepped into the MP of Stockton showroom, I knew I made the right choice. I settled on the all-electric EQS SUV. It's comfortable, stylish, and most importantly, it's safe. Mercedes-Benz has the reputation of making the finest cars in the world. Now it's your turn to experience what I already know. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton is the best car buying experience you'll ever have. It's just a short drive down I-5 or anytime at mbfstockton.com.
Live and local.
It's Allen Stiles
On Sacktown Sports.
15 minutes, we get to our trade candidate of the day. And another hint is Kyle wore a shirt. If you've been listening, Kyle wore my shirt from my Bay Area days on the show.
Why would you have a shirt of this player?
Somebody bought it for me. People buy me things.
There must be a player that's important to you.
Not as important as Obi Toppin right now. As the Pacers and 916-339-1140, the text line is somebody guessed correctly. Somebody guessed correctly who the trade candidate is. And I'm sorry, it's too late. It's a Friday. If you're going to do this, guy, it's going to be on a Friday. Okay?
UPS Chris, he just submitted his guess. Do we think the streak's going to continue?
It is. He is correct as well.
8 in a row for old UPS Chris.
Somebody else is bringing up from the 916 that Pascal had an average night. The Pacers did not play well. And it's something we do. We always assume, well, the Thunder are going to play better. Well, what if the Pacers play better? What if would this be our generations? And we've talked a lot about generations on the show this week. Kyle and I have had a battle of the generations. Maybe that's something we do in the summer. We have people call in millennials versus Gen Zers versus Gen Xers, some baby boomers. We have a real battle. And speaking of that as well, at 1:00, and I know you guys are all running around, you'll be eating your lunch and you'll be returning. Top 5 sports movies, okay? I just saw some of Kyle's, but Kyle and I, this is summer now. Sorry. This is what happens when you're Kings fans. You don't play in June.
You get to watch your players.
You get to watch players that used to play on your team.
Or you could have drafted.
And Allen and Kyle get to do their top 5 sports movies. That's coming up at 1. And Kyle and I'm just looking here. We barely match on any. And that's some generational malarkey right there.
There's also not a lot of great Gen Z sports movies.
That's also true.
They haven't made them like they don't make sports movies like they used to.
They
Allen.
really don't. And I'm glad you recognize that, Kyle. One thing that we want to make clear here is that we want this to be as embarrassing as possible for the Sacramento Kings. And I say that with all the respect for my job in the world. I want this to be as embarrassing as possible. I want Tyrese Haliburton to win Finals MVP because they have to know how much they bleeped everything up. That's the only way. I want night sweats all throughout that organization. I don't want any, if, Fox could have done this and if we had just done that. No. I want them to see what a competent organization does after a trade versus what they did after a trade. That's the only way. I
kind of go in the same direction, except I just want it to be as funny as possible. Like, whatever the funniest possible outcome is what I would root for.
The funniest outcome as of, what is it today? The 7th already is flying by. The 6th?
6.
The funniest outcome as of June 6th. 6. The funniest outcome would be, and all of this won't happen, but you know what? He doesn't even have to be a head coach. The funniest outcome would be the Pacers winning it all, Tyrese Haliburton wins Finals MVP, and Mike Brown joins a winning organization, albeit it could be as the head coach of the Knicks, it could be as an assistant coach on the Knicks, a team that made the playoffs. An assistant coach or better. That would be the most embarrassing thing for the Kings. And that doesn't matter, if you called in or texted in and said, Allen, I wanted to move on for Mike Brown, that's fine. We can still all laugh about this. We could disagree about when they fired Mike Brown, but we could still all laugh about this. You could disagree that Mike Brown wasn't the right decision, and you can like Doug Christie. I like Doug Christie. I see him every weekend morning when I'm watching the news. I see Doug Christie trying to sell me a car, and I love it. Right, those commercials are still running. I love Doug.
Coach Doug Christie here.
Doug Christie here. There's fireworks. It's Memorial Day. I haven't had my coffee yet. I'm like, Doug, this is too much, man. She's only 2 years old. She can't watch. We got to change the channel.
You can't expose your daughter to Doug Christie yet.
You can't have the flashing is bad for the kids. These flashing lights, man.
I thought you were going to say any Sacramento Kings exposure is bad for the children.
Well, we already bleeped that up. Her one, she doesn't fit it anymore, but no, the onesie is cooked because it was De'Aaron Fox. Now that's $2 at your local sports store.
No, it's a memento.
Oh, no.
It's a moment in time, Alan. You'll learn to appreciate it one day. When your daughter's running around as a toddler or a 7, 8-year-old,
Yeah, it's a memento, all right.
You'll appreciate the De'Aaron Fox one.
Oh, yeah, it's quite the memento. I want this to be as embarrassing as possible. I want, people were getting on Sam Amick, and I was joking about The Athletic in general, just, hey, they're doing it for clicks, and we had some fun earlier in the week. But I want it all out. Because you have to hit rock. We know those friends, right? Oh, well, he ended up back on his feet again. So he keeps making the same mistakes, right? That friend that just always has a job but can't keep a job. And he doesn't learn or she doesn't learn from their mistakes because they always are just barely making it by. You don't want that friend to end up rock bottom. But sometimes you think, maybe if they hit rock bottom, they would realize the error of their ways and it would help them, right? I'll be completely honest with you. I had a friend like that, and it was somewhat recently. Felt like they hit close to their rock bottom, I should say, or as rock bottom as they want to get. And it's really helped them. It has helped, and I am being dead serious right now. It has really helped them. New job, new focus. Now, obviously, we got to see how long it lasts. But new job, new focus, it's helped them, right? But if you're continuing to just keep your head above water, you don't think anything is wrong. And the Kings, they haven't really kept their head above water, to be honest, because playing is half your nose is covered in water. You can still kind of breathe. That's what it's been. But it feels like that's been enough for the Kings. So we need them. If you're not going to rebuild the actual roster, then we need you to rebuild from the PR perspective and from the operational perspective. Before I took this job, I was in product operations, okay, out in San Francisco for a tech company. Product operations, it's how the product works, how you work within the systems, the efficiency of the systems. The product operations within the Kings organization has been atrocious. And it's on record that it's been atrocious. And it's been reported that it's been atrocious. And you got dudes leaving for college jobs that we have never even heard of during the season. Luke Lauk said, I'm out, bro. I'm out. Wes Wilcox, met him at Chipotle. Great dude. Allen, enjoy that vinaigrette, brother. I'm out. I am deucing. So sometimes you have to hit rock bottom. And it might hurt. It might sting. I'm pretty sure it will. But hopefully you can come out on the other end. So as Tyrese Haliburton continues to do his thing on the biggest stage, it ain't even about Tyrese at this point in time. It's about understanding why your process has been bleeped up this whole time and figuring out a way to keep that from happening. And it starts with the trade candidate of the day. All right, enough with that serious talk. Let's have some fun at 11. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hello, I'm Frank Cock with Retirement Security Center for the weekly economic update. Wall Street started the week higher, but fresh jobs data painted a murky picture for the U.S. economy, muting the earlier gains. Key report from ADP showed private payrolls increased by just 37,000 jobs in May, well below economists' expectations of 110,000. That's the weakest monthly reading in over 2 years, and it's adding pressure ahead of today's government jobs report. President Trump wasted no time pushing again for rate cuts. The continued pressure from the president on the Federal Reserve has helped cause stock and bond market volatility in recent months. Despite the soft data and ongoing trade uncertainties, Horizon Investments' Mike Dickerson struck a cautiously optimistic tone, saying that things are probably better than feared. Economists seem to think that options for growth still remain this year as we look forward to deregulation and income tax reform. How might this affect you or your family? Please go to frankontheradio.com to schedule an appointment, watch videos, and receive market updates. I'm ready to help you start your journey so you can define your future.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Mosaic Wealth. Member FINRA SIPC. Mosaic Wealth is separately owned, and other entities and or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Mosaic Wealth.
Whitey here for Napoleon Grills, reminding you that when buying a new grill, every detail matters. While supplies last, you'll receive a $149 gift with purchase on every new Napoleon Prestige stainless steel grill. The kit even includes a pizza lover starter kit and much more. And now up to $79 off Napoleon Rogue models. Napoleon grills are built different, built better, built to last, with a lifetime warranty and premium steel that boasts amazing quality. Visit Green Acres Nursery today for your best selection of Napoleon grills and accessories.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
Get ready for a night out with Jordan Davis. It's Country in the Park 2, Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Along with the special guests Mitchell Tenpenny, Mocash, Vincent Mason, and Abriana. Make it a family day out with food trucks, games, dancing, and more. Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo with Michelob Ultra. Tickets are available now at CITPFest.com.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Come check out Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com, and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Summer savings explode at latest Elk Grove Chevy. Save $12,000 off MSRP after rebates. Every new 2025 Silverado half-ton LT and RST in stock exclusively at MadeAChevy.com. Now that's big, huge. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details.
KHDK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140. You at home for Kings Talk and so much more.
Live and vocal.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
One hour down. 3 to go. 916 on the text line is really going to send me an Obi Toppin jersey. It's Styles with an I. 916.
STILES.
If you're really going to, I'm just joking here. Okay, it was more so for if one of my family members was listening, but they don't ever buy me nothing. I'm just going to get to golf next Sunday, which is good enough for me.
Those jerseys aren't cheap too.
No. And I'm gonna put it up. It's just gonna go up during my show. I just want one person to say, Alan, I was wrong about Obi. The Kings could have used Obi. 916-339-1140. I'm not letting this go.
I'm trying
to chat, text line, Allen, you were right about Obi. That's all I want on a Friday. That's all I want.
So there's not any Kings number 1 jerseys because number 1 is retired by the organization. But I'm thinking, can we customize a Kings Obi Toppin number 1 jersey?
That's all I want.
Get you a custom, like next to the Monk jersey, just put a custom Obi Toppin jersey on the wall.
That's all I want. That's all I want. And all I want now, as we keep the good vibes going on a Friday, is to talk about this trade candidate. Where do I begin? Where do I actually begin? Like I said, we go based on Basketball Reference because they're always the tallest on Basketball Reference. A 6'4" shooting and point guard.
It's a little too large for Monty McNair.
Monty gone Cox. Now. We don't know. Monty's somewhere. I can't remember. He was in the running somewhere.
He was interviewed
months. We saw that a couple months ago.
He was interviewing for the Hawks job, which I don't think the Hawks hired anyone yet.
Maybe he's still interviewing. 6'4", out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, college, University of Michigan, a Wolverine, drafted with the 28th pick in the 2019 NBA draft by the Golden State Warriors, on his way to take the NBA world by storm. He was betrayed by his own team.
Light the beam! Light it!
You have Tim Kawakami reporting as recently as last week that the drama in Golden State did not start with Draymond Green. It actually started with beloved Golden State Warrior Klay Thompson. And Klay Thompson, this is real, by the way. This is not a bit. You can listen to the podcast during the break. And Klay Thompson was actually on the Tom Tolbert show, by the way. And Klay Thompson did not take kindly to Jordan Poole's swagger and the feeling that he should be in the starting lineup with Klay Thompson coming back from the Achilles. That caused turmoil in the locker room with Jordan Poole essentially saying, look, man, I'm a huge reason we won this thing, which ended in a right hook, some would say good enough for the Sac State boxing team, to Jordan Poole's face, ultimately getting the bag and subsequently shipped off to Washington for CP3, who the Warriors eventually lost for absolutely nothing.
Well, you also forgot the crazy detail that I don't think we talk about enough. Then leaked to TMZ. The video then leaked to TMZ.
And we still don't know who leaked it. The trade candidate for today is a pool party in Sacramento. What better way to get back at your ops, as the kids say, to get back at your ex, than to go to your rival in Sacramento and boogie on him however many times a year?
This is actually a fact.
He played 68 games. He scored 20.5 points per game. He had 3 rebounds per game. He had 4.5 assists per game, passing to bums and 20-year-olds. That's 6 rebounds on a normal team. Or 6 assists on a normal team.
You put some respect on JT Thor. They beat the Kings.
That's all
those bums and 20-year-olds.
And Jordan Poole got benched. They benched all the starters in the fourth quarter
and still won.
We forget about that. Honestly, we will spend some time.
That's what the pool party shirt was from.
That's right.
We had to wear. You chickened out. I had to wear the pool party shirt because the Wizards beat the Sacramento Kings with Jordan Poole and a bunch of 20-year-olds.
43% from the field, 37% from 3. We know he can shoot the rock. 88% from free throw. We've seen that as high as 90 throughout his career. Jordan Poole he's right in the middle of my 24 to 26. What are we doing? Age range. He's 25 years old. He's actually about to turn 26 in a couple weeks or so. So remember that for celebrity birthdays. He's about to turn 26 for his career, 412 games, 16.8 points per game, 2.7 rebounds per game, 3.8 assists per game, 42% from the field, 34% from 3, 87% from free throw. We know what Jordan Poole can do. We know he's going to shoot the basketball. Looking at what he's done in his career, that championship season in 2022, he scored 18.5 points per game. 18.5 points per game. And then 2023, he's at 20 points per game, 17.4 points per game in 2023, 2024. That was his first season with the Washington Wizards. And then last season, 20.5, the most in his career, just by 0.1. In 2023, he was at 0.4. So Jordan Poole, Kyle, is the trade candidate for today. He's 25 years old. He's had a crazy, crazy career. Just really does. And this is what we're talking about. Who do you think has higher value right now? And we're about to get to his contract. But who do you think has higher value right now? Jordan Poole, who is on a contract. Let me just say it now to give you context. And I'm just going to keep saying this other guy's name. They're both 25, 26. Jordan Poole just got paid $29.6 million. And Jordan Poole will be paid $31.8 million next season. And after that, he'll be at 30. So only 2 years left on the deal, man.
Yeah, 2-year deal, essentially.
He's owed about 60, right? 65 mil. Next season, he'll make 34. And then he's a free agent, right? And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Who I was going to bring up was my now kind of go-to. He's about to be banned by how much we're talking about him. Who's got more value right now? This guy's on a $12 million deal, about to be a free agent. Somehow, does Kobe White have more value than Jordan Poole right now?
Yes, but that's just because of the contract.
Yeah.
If Jordan Poole were making $20 million, I don't think anybody would really have a problem with Jordan Poole. It's just the inflated contract that the Warriors paid.
The punch tax.
No, it wasn't even the punch. It was the championship tax. It
Yeah.
was we won a championship, so who cares? We're just going to pay everybody.
Right.
Wiggins got overpaid. Poole got overpaid.
Wiggins did not get overpaid if he was going to continue to do what he did in 2022.
I can say the same thing about Jordan Poole.
You
right?
could.
If Jordan Poole was going to be the fourth best player on a team that won a championship, then it's $30 million is fine. But they paid him like a number 3. They probably shouldn't have paid him like a number 3. And now Jordan Poole gets shipped out for Chris Paul. And, it was all part of the Bradley Beal trade, but essentially the Warriors just dumped him to not have to pay the contract. And the Wizards have been fine paying that contract because you have to pay somebody, right? We talked about this before with Jake LaRavia. When you're a bad team, you're okay overpaying for players because you have to hit the 90% salary floor, and you'd rather give it all to Fred VanVleet or all to Jordan Poole, who's a little bit overpaid, versus having it sprinkled to a bunch of players who are going to take up roster spots. So the only problem with Jordan Poole is the contract. There's layers to it, but it's similar to Zach LaVine. Like, no one would have a problem with Zach LaVine if he was making $30 million. No one would have a problem with Jordan Poole if he was making 15 to 20. It's just that $30 million number.
Yeah, the issue with Jordan Poole, even for somebody like me that loves the pool party, is this is probably the best contract he'll get in his career. And hey, when you win a championship at 22, that's what happens. But the reality is Jordan Poole is in that same vein as Malik Monk, Jordan Clarkson, Jordan Clarkson, the guys that we bring up, right, as far the Jamal Crawfords of the world. That's who he probably should be.
Yeah, like Duncan Robinson.
Exactly. He should be a high-level 6-man. So you can see if maybe there's something more to that these next 2 years, because nobody is giving Jordan Poole $30 million again. And I think he probably even knows that. He's been in Washington. Nobody cares. Nobody talks about him. He's a bit forgotten at this point. He's only 25, but somehow he's still a little old for the Wizards. They're not going to build around him. I don't think he's good enough for them to build around him, and that's just the reality of it. I thought, it's weird. You let a guy, quote unquote, cook, and they're about to do the Wizards just going to take all of the Warriors players that need runway. And see if one of them hits. Jordan Poole didn't work. Okay, now let's take Kuminga, give him runway, see if that works. So Jordan Poole will probably be a high-level six man. If you want to eat this contract, you can't start him. That I don't think you can start him. You can't play him with Malik Monk. I know that's right.
This would create a very interesting situation where would you rather just start Keon Ellis making less money and not as good of a player as Jordan Poole just because of fit reasons?
Probably, and just see what he can become. I want to believe that Jordan Poole still has it. A lot of people were messing, not he was going to be as good as Steph, but hey, could he be 70% of Steph? The 70% of Steph might even be still a Hall of Famer, right? It's definitely a starting point guard and a high level scorer and player. So I think that's my issue with Jordan Poole. As much as I want to believe that he could take the next step, in my heart of hearts, when I lay my head down on the pillow in Natomas and you gave me truth serum, do I truly think Jordan Poole can still take that next? Maybe it's a little bit of prisoner of the moment with the Wizards and being on a bad team. But my problem with Jordan Poole isn't the contract. My problem with Jordan Poole is that this will be the most we pay him, right? That shouldn't be it. If you're overpaying for someone, you should feel good about it because, it's going to match at some point because the next contract, he's not going to be overpaid because he's going to continue to get better. That's my worry with Jordan Poole. This will actually be the most he ever gets paid, which means that he was slightly overpaid.
Oh, we all know he was slightly overpaid.
He's not going to match. He's not ever going to match it.
Yeah, I guess I would make the point if it were just apples to apples, I would rather have Jordan Poole as that sixth man than Malik Monk, only because of, again, I haven't watched a lot of Wizards basketball, but he could point guard better.
Oh, I would too, but Malik Monk making what, 18 mil?
That's the difference. If Jordan Poole was making the Jordan Clarkson, Malik Monk, Kevin Huerter, Duncan Robinson $18 million, no one would have a problem with him. And we'll get to the trade options in a second, but it's similar to how we talk about Zach LaVine. Great player, a number 3 on a very good team, but he's getting paid like a number 1. And that's Jordan Poole right now. Very good player, could be a number 4 or a super sub on a very good team, but he's making number 2 money or high-end number 3 money.
Right. We can't talk about how it's going to be tough for a guy like DeMar DeRozan to find a spot, which we've on this show, we don't think is going to be as tough as other people may think when he's making 24 and he's a Hall of Famer and Jordan Poole's running around making 30 bill.
Exactly.
Right? That's a problem. We're going to break down the trades that Kyle has cooked up. Maybe there is a world where this makes sense. Let's break it down on the other side. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Okay, Kyle. What is going to convince myself and the good people of Sacramento to take a chance on Jordan Poole, the pool party?
Well, we've got 3 trade options for today. One of them is the obligatory DeMar DeRozan deal. Another is the Zach LaVine salary dump option.
Okay.
Which is essentially, just to get off of LaVine's very expensive 2-year contract. And the third one we're going to get to is we're going to get a little spicy and lump in a bigger star in addition to the Jordan Poole trade.
Today's the day.
Yeah. So first of all, the DeMar DeRozan deal is not going to make the Kings better, but if the market completely dries up, this might be the best they can do for a DeMar DeRozan deal, right? Like if Miami says we're not interested, if Orlando says, or I'm sorry, not Orlando, if Detroit says we're not interested, if Toronto says we're not interested, and they just have to dump DeRozan, this is maybe the best they can do. So it would be Jordan Poole, and they get Jordan Poole, the Magic get DeMar DeRozan, and then the Wizards end up with Kentavious Caldwell-Pope again, Gary Harris, who they'll waive, not important. They get pick number 46 from the Magic, and then they would swap picks with the Kings, if that makes sense. So the Kings would go from 42 down to 57,
right? And
the Magic or the Wizards would jump up like 15 spots in the second round.
And I would officially kiss Grant Nelson goodbye.
Yes. Well, he could fall to 57,
He's not. But you know what? The one thing here, Kyle, so the easier way to kind of break it down is the Kings are giving up DeMar DeRozan and a pick swap.
And getting Jordan
Poole. Why are you just saying the Wizards would then trade? Because you said they would waive Gary Harris. Would they just trade KCP to a contender?
Or, build up his value. I mean, they did this last time, right? They got KCP from the Lakers. They built up his value, and then they traded him to Denver. So they either essentially they just get 2 second-round picks for Jordan Poole, and then they can do what they can with KCP, who is on a slightly cheaper contract that I think is the same 2 years. It's essentially just they get 2 second-round picks for Jordan Poole.
By the way, if you're just now tuning in, this is a feel-good, fun Friday. So Jordan Poole is our trade target. And, with everything going on with Tyrese, we wanted to have a little bit of a pool party. Do we think Jordan Poole is going to turn the Kings organization around? Most likely not, but also that person I don't think is on the team right now anyway. So we're having some fun with this. Kyle, as far as myself, again, if this is Allen was wrong here on the Allen Stiles Show on Sacktown Sports, and DeMar DeRozan's value or DeMar DeRozan's market is just kind of cooked, right? The Rockets say, I'm good. The Spurs or whoever say, I'm good. We don't need kind of, we're not viewing him as a lesser Kevin Durant or just a scorer that we need. The Knicks, right? Teams like that, we're all good. And the Magic say, hey, we still need scoring. Yeah, I would do it. If it's dried up like this, I would do it. It wouldn't be my first choice, but I think that's what we're both agreeing on. This is not anybody's first choice.
This is not a good trade for the Kings, but this is we just have to dump DeMar DeRozan trade situation. Again, not a good trade for the Kings, but this is you got to do what you got to do. It's also not even a second round pick either. It's just a pick swap to move down 15 spots in the draft. So you're just dumping DeMar DeRozan. Number 2, which I think is more plausible, is the Zach LaVine salary dump. We actually ran this scenario by, I think, 3 or 4 weeks ago when we were talking about, hey, if they want to just dump Zach LaVine's contracts, how can they do that? And this is one of those teams that I'd say this is the best team that has the ability to do that. So in this scenario, the Kings would send Zach LaVine, pick number 42, Grant Nelson, and one of the Charlotte second rounders. So Zach LaVine and 2 seconds go to Washington. Coming back to Sacramento is pool party, Marcus Smart on a 1-year expiring deal, and welcome back to Sacramento, Colby Jones.
I was with you until, I don't mind Marcus Smart. I guess it's a little redundant. I know they're not the same type of guard, but Give me somebody else along with Jordan Poole, or definitely not. I can't get 3 combo guards. I'm actually just on principle. I'm not doing 3 combo guards. So cook up somebody else, and I'd be into it.
Do you want me to just get rid of Colby Jones?
Just don't send him.
Yeah, we're fine. We don't need Colby Jones.
They gotta have some 6'8" somewhere.
You want JT Thor?
Sure. How old is he?
I don't know how that works, but sure.
How old is JT Thor? I'm just on principle. Let me see here. He's 22, 6'9", send him over instead of Colby Jones.
I can get you. He's not on the team technically, so we can't do that. But I can get you Anthony Gill.
How tall is he?
6'7".
Come on down. How old is he?
32.
No. Stay there. Stay there. I'm sorry, Anthony. Go back.
This guy's actually too good, I think, financially. But I can get you Champagne's brother.
Okay.
But
how tall is he?
He's 6'6".
How old is he?
He's 23.
Come on down.
He's also pretty good. He's fine.
We got a deal. Got a deal.
I can try it in here. I mean, Middleton's the only other player that they could move. Oh, wait. Actually, I do have a deal that would work. Okay. So, it'll work. Welcome home, Rashawn Holmes.
Hey, I'm in.
Pool party, Rashawn Holmes and Colby Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome home, Rashawn, which would be so annoying if Monty McNair dumped a first-round pick to move his contract, and then at the end, they still have to pay his contract.
Can I be honest, though? And I know we're having some fun with this, but couldn't you make the argument that Zach LaVine is kind of, now I don't know how fun it would be for Zach LaVine, but isn't that kind of what the Wizards need? You're overpaying, but that's a guy. And Jordan Poole, to me, they're super similar, but Jordan Poole is 25, and Jordan Poole is still trying to get paid like Zach LaVine, and we all know it. So I just think that Zach LaVine being on the Wizards, obviously the Wizards would be overpaying, but they ain't paying nobody right now anyway. Zach LaVine isn't going to mess up their timeline or get in the way of their timeline and their growth the same way that Jordan Poole could. Am I crazy?
I think he does more for them than Jordan Poole, but that's because Zach LaVine's a better player than Jordan Poole.
Right. I mean, hey, let's turn this thing around a little bit. We're going to overpay for Zach LaVine. It's only 2 years. Then he's off the books. And by that time, hopefully, the Alex Sars of the world and the other guys that we got are close to being ready. The Bub Carringtons are ready to go a little bit.
I think it depends what they do with this pick 6, because if they draft a combo guard who is ball dominant, maybe Zach LaVine doesn't work out that way. But you're right. The draft picks they've made so far, the Bilal Koulibaly's, the Alex Sars, the Bub Carringtons, the AJ Johnsons, like those players are not as affected by Zach LaVine's playing style. In fact, they might actually be a very good complement.
Right.
But I would wait and see what they do with pick 6 this year before making that conclusion. Because if they draft a power forward, I would say, yeah, go for it. Let's see what happens. Or if they draft a center, if they draft a 2 guard, maybe they're better off moving Poole to the bench.
All right. What's the last one?
Oh, the last one. Let's get a little spicy here. So, in this deal, we're not only going to land the pool party, but pool party's just a third piece that we're just throwing in here.
Wow.
The pool party sound.
Okay.
It also sounds like something else, but it is pool party.
Yeah, that sounds like a different type of pool party, I'm being honest. Never mind.
Remember
breakfast burrito? Oh, go ahead. Chili cheese fries. Go ahead. Seriously.
Pastrami fries.
Oh, yes. Yes. Go ahead, please.
So, remember, I'm going to take us back all the way in time 2 weeks ago. At this point, Tyrese Haliburton was still hitting game-winning shots in game 1. It was just against the Knicks. We did our LaMelo Ball trade, and that deal was, in essence, DeMar DeRozan, Malik Monk, and 3 first-round picks. So we're going to just flip it up here and say Zach LaVine goes out in that deal, but they also take on Jordan Poole, who's obviously more expensive.
Okay.
So in this deal, the Kings would land the pool party. Hold on. the pool party, and LaMelo Ball. So just all guards who can't play defense in exchange for
what? Go ahead.
Okay, Malik Monk would go to Washington in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Hornets would end up with Zach LaVine, the 2026 Kings first, the 2028 Kings first, and the 2030 Kings first. But I'm going to put in a fun contingency here. You know how the Kings have Charlotte's 2 seconds?
Mm-hmm.
That first round pick in 26 becomes 2 seconds if LaMelo Ball doesn't play more than 50 games. So it's either 3 first-round picks or 2 firsts and 2 seconds if LaMelo Ball gets hurt next season.
I do like that, but I don't know why the Wizards would only settle for Malik Monk, though.
For Jordan Poole? They'd save one. Monk has an extra year on his deal, and they're saving about $13 million.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. It's interesting.
So the Kings would be left with, at this point, LaMelo Ball, Jordan Poole, DeMar DeRozan, just a 3-guard lineup that can't play any defense.
You have taken this fun Friday too far.
Then Keegan Murray, Domantas Sabonis, Keon Ellis, Devin Carter, Jake LaRavia, Jonas Valanciunas. They would be a much better team.
They would.
But it would come at the cost of a bunch of draft picks.
And Jordan Poole has to come off the bench. And so you're paying a guy $30 million to come off the bench.
But you're also paying Keon $2 million to start.
Yeah. A couple ways to look at it. I look, if I can get both of them, I had this thing. I know we're way over time. I had this thing when I was in the Bay, and they obviously passed on LaMelo. When they still had Jordan Poole, I said, hey, they could have turned the keys over to LaMelo and Jordan Poole, and there were the Splash Bros with Steph and Clay, and then they could have turned it over to the Flash Brothers.
I don't like that.
Or the Crash Brothers.
I like that better than Flash Brothers. That sounds like something completely different.
When we return, The Ringer releases a new top 100 list. Where do the Kings land? And is it enough to make you change how you feel about the current roster? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Summer's almost here, and so are popsicles, pool days, and a lot of smiling. Make sure your kiddo's smile is ready with a visit to Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics. Our expert team makes dental visits easy and fun with sensory-friendly hours for kids who need a calmer environment. We can also accommodate same-day treatments, and to save you time, if your child needs multiple treatments, we can often do them all at once. Appointments fill up fast, so don't wait. Beat the summer rush and schedule online at kidscaredental.com. That's kidscaredental.com, where healthy, happy smiles begin.
When you're young, life is full of choices. Don't let opioids like highly addictive and deadly fentanyl take away your life with just one wrong pill. Addiction is a disease that can affect anyone at any age. But there is a choice to get help for this disease. Find medically proven treatment options, including virtual, at choosemat.org.
It's what you wait for all week. The 3-pointers, the rebounds, the thrill of every shot. Win or lose, it's the hope that keeps you coming back. The dream that this time, it might be your year. And so you represent with anticipation and with pride. Because when the pressure's on, your support is everything. That's why the NBA store is here to support you. Check out the largest selection of official NBA gear at NBAstore.com. A Fanatics experience.
The Giant Summer Sale is here. Get giant savings on our Giant selection only at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save during the Giant Summer Sale and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com. Your one-stop Honda shop.
An Australian hiker travels to the American West to walk a wilderness trail.
Wasn't afraid to be out on his own.
But Eric Robinson vanished in the high Uinta Mountains.
I remember thinking, Eric, what were you thinking, mate?
I'm Dave Cawley. Join me on my podcast, Uinta Triangle, where I travel the world to answer the question, what happened to Eric Robinson? Follow Uinta Triangle. That's UINTA Triangle on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen.
At Valley Strong Credit Union, we know that local businesses are the backbone of the Central Valley.
investing in our neighborhoods, boosting the economy, making the Valley stronger. But when it comes to their finances, where can they turn? A big bank that just sees another number? That's not good enough. Valley businesses deserve Valley support for payroll, credit, cash flow, and everything in between. Valley Business is Valley Strong. Learn how our cash management services can support your business at valleystrong.com.
Hey everyone, it's Kyle Draper here. If you're in the market for a new car, let me tell you about my experience with Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. From the moment I walked into their state-of-the-art showroom, I knew I was making the right choice. There was no pressure from the sales staff, and if I'm being honest, I felt like a kid in a candy store. I settled on the all-electric EQS SUV, and let me tell you why. First of all, the comfort. After a long day at work, I actually look forward to being in my car. It has several different massage settings, including my favorite, hot relaxing back. Plus, the seat heating and cooling features are perfect for the hot summer or those chilly mornings. Mercedes-Benz has the reputation of making the finest cars in the world. Now it's your turn to experience what I already know. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton is the best car buying experience you'll ever have. They're just a short drive down I-5, or you can shop online anytime at mbfstockton.com. That's mbfstockton.com, and tell them Drape sent you.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140.
on Sacktown Sports.
916, this has got to be the worst trade I have ever heard. Is that just for Jordan Poole specifically, or that last one, and let me say this. Kyle is the one who I'll hop in from time to time, but Kyle will ask me, do you have a trade candidate? Sometimes he'll have a name. A lot of times he'll have a name. Sometimes I'll have a name. And then Kyle is the one breaking it all down. Okay. With that and I am very appreciative. With that being said, that LaMelo Ball, Jordan Poole trade, Kyle, you always joke about quarterbacks that will get you fired. Yep. Like Anthony Richardson, Jalen Milroe. That trade will get Scott Perry fired.
If it doesn't work.
And I'm telling you, it's getting him fired.
I mean,
and we like Scott Perry here on the show. We don't want him to be relieved of his duties. So that's crazy.
Little LaMelo Ball, Jordan Poole, DeMar DeRozan 3-guard lineup.
I mean, is it better than whatever it is that we're doing now? Is it more exciting than whatever it is we're doing now? Absolutely.
Allen, that's a 7 seed if I've ever heard of one.
That is a league pass. At least you could say, hey, the Kings are doing something, but that something is something else. That would have been what that should have been? That should have been version 2 of the Beam team with Mike Brown. Just absolutely zero defense with a defensive coach. And bring Sasha back as well. Bring Sasha back on that team and just shoot. And then you can maybe get to what Doug Christie said of the 63s a game or whatever he said, where the Kings never got close to it.
I mean, LaMelo Ball and Domantas Sabonis are just going to be pass. You know that meme from the Will Ferrell movie that I'm Semi-Pro, where they're just passing back and forth? It's just going to be LaMelo Ball and Sabonis passing back and forth for 20 seconds.
You want to take a guess how many, I don't know if you heard that or not, how many threes Jordan Poole took a game?
Took per game?
Yes.
See, I know they were kind of sitting him a little bit at times late in games.
Yeah, but he was in there.
So I'm going to go with 38.
No, per game.
Yeah, 38 per game.
Okay. It was 9.
Oh, I was so close.
9 threes a game. The season before, he was taking 7.2. Last season with the Warriors, he was taking 7.8. So this is the most threes. And he shot 37, almost 38%. On 9 threes a game. But we know there's more to that. He averaged 3 turnovers per game. Hey, we got guys that do that right now already, so he'd fit right in. Okay, Kyle, so the Ringer has released a new top 100 players list. Where do the Kings fall? Coming in at number 68, Zach LaVine. He's ranked 31st among guards. Alex Caruso, 4 spots ahead of him. Drew Holiday, Kobe White, Andrew Nembhard ranked just below him. That is fascinating. DeMar DeRozan was number 67. So right in front of his former Bulls teammate, current Kings teammate, Zach LaVine. He's ranked 20th among forwards, 1 spot below Jaden McDaniels. And everybody wants to know, where is Domantas Sabonis? Domantas Sabonis, at his best, will flirt with top 25. Well, Domantas Sabonis, I guess kind of a down year by his standards, if you will. And, the team, how they do that kind of factors in as well. Domantas Sabonis, 31 on the Ringers top 100 list, ranked 9th best big man behind Jokic, Giannis, Wemby, AD, Mobley, Karl-Anthony Towns, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Chet. 1 spot ahead of Bam and 4 ahead of Zubac and Şengün. Well, at least they still have him holding on with Şengün. I would have thought maybe Şengün kind of bounced up there.
I'll tell you what, they wouldn't have benched Sabonis for game 1 of the NBA Finals down the stretch. I'll tell you that. Putting Chet ahead of Sabonis. Get out of here.
Yeah. So, this is what happens when you win, man.
Yeah, prisoner of the moment.
Yeah, that's what happens when you win. Yeah, that is a good point. I mean, Chet, and by the way, so Chet's 27. Chet, 27, best player in the league, and he did not. Like I said, I was kind of switching back and forth with the Women's College World Series. That series is outstanding, by the way. They're going to game 3 tonight. The winner take all, Texas Tech versus Texas. I turn it on, and I'm not going to lie to you. I had some rooting interests, and I had some rooting interests or my buddy did, for Chet Holmgren. Chet Holmgren, it was a decreased amount. My buddy had him at 8 rebounds, and Chet had 6. I going back and forth. I'm watching it on my phone because, my wife wanted to watch softball. Happy wife, happy life. And I see about 3 minutes, 30 seconds left. I'm thinking, oh, okay, I might be cooking here. The game ends, so I turn it on the big TV. Chet's on the bench for the last 4 minutes.
Yeah. They decided to go small ball. Both teams went small ball at the end of the game, which is brilliant by Indiana. I mean, forcing them to make the adjustments is a brilliant strategy. I just still can't believe it worked. Like, okay, they want to go small, just put Chet in there and just let Chet body them.
It's so weird. It is so weird.
And Miles Turner didn't play down the stretch either.
Yeah, prop talk aside, Chet Holmgren, for that to happen, and I guess turn it off. I guess if you're going to do that, think about it like this, Kyle. And contracts don't necessarily break down who you are as a player, right? But the one thing with Rudy Gobert is in the playoffs, you get him on switches, and it's pretty rough. The Ringer has Rudy Gobert ranked 55, right?
Sure.
We know he's getting cashed out. That's fine. Chet, he's more mobile than Rudy for sure. Rudy has Defensive Player of the Year awards. They got Rudy at 55, and they went to the Western Conference Finals. To have Chet at 27, he was not an all-star. I do not understand why Chet is ranked 27th, even ahead of Domantas Sabonis aside. Why and what has he done to be ranked a top 30 player in the NBA?
No, it's a prisoner of the moment playoffs kind of thing. Like, I think on that list they have Tyrese at 6, which I'm not saying Tyrese is not 6, but
now we're talking.
To jump from like 20 to 6 is like, I think we're being a little playoff prisoner of the moment with this.
They have him at 7. That's where he is right now. I was trying to see what he was prior to. But yeah, they have him at 7 right now, which is, it's probably a little high.
I know we're doing the Chet thing, but Chet's really the only one of those bigs I have like a qualm with. Like, Jaren Jackson Jr., it's fine to put him ahead of Sabonis. I'm not saying like you shouldn't. He's a defensive player of the year, better on the defensive end of the floor than probably Sabonis is on the offensive end of the floor. But the fact that we talked about it with the All-NBA thing. He's gone from being third or fourth in the league, pretty solid, to now kind of in that like 7, 8, 9 range. I mean, they're putting him right there with Bam Adebayo, and we would all say Sabonis is definitely better than Bam Adebayo.
Right, and that's partly because I think that comparison was fair, and then Bam kind of got stagnant, and Sabonis took a quote. Now, I'm got to be careful with this word here. He took a leap in a Sabonis type way, and Bam did not. Now it feels like they're saying Sabonis has gotten a little stagnant within his leap. And yeah, he's a little bit better than Bam, but Bam also is not anything to write home about at this point either.
Yeah, and maybe I just would have felt better if he was still in that like 25 range, because I think he's like...
Do you think he deserves to be?
I think he shouldn't be 4 spots behind De'Aaron Fox.
And De'Aaron Fox, because of course everybody has to know where De'Aaron Fox falls. De'Aaron Fox is 26.
Yeah, so Sabonis, how did Fox get traded and not play? And in fairness, Sabonis did also get hurt, but yeah. I'm just like, Sabonis was probably more valuable than Fox when he was here, and Fox is still 5 spots ahead of Sabonis, which Whitey and Drapes were talking about this a couple days ago, which is what put me onto the list. But I think this is also kind of like Sabonis not making the All-Star team, which is he's getting Kings punished in a way. Like the Kings making bad decisions is affecting the reputation a little bit.
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox was 19th in January, which sounds kind of crazy, by the way. But he was coming off those crazy games where he dropped 60. 19th, then in February, he drops to 21st. In March, he drops to 25th. In April, he drops to 27, and then in June he somehow bumped up to 26.
I think I can't remember who, just like fell completely off.
Domantas Sabonis' timeline, he was right behind De'Aaron in January at 20. He was 20 in February. He was 24 in March. He drops to 26 in April. Then he dropped 5 spots from April to June, whereas De'Aaron moved up 1. And neither team made the playoffs, and De'Aaron wasn't even playing, and that team didn't make the play-in. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. The Kings got bigger fish to fry than the Ringer top 100, but we understand that this stuff does matters. What also matters, and I'm really, really excited about this conversation coming up. Look, we go back and forth with Kevin O'Connor, but I feel like the Kings, again, have bigger fish to fry. And Kevin O'Connor, it's so bad, he doesn't even talk about the Kings anymore. That's where we're at. But he wrote something for Yahoo Sports, and it talked about the evolution of 3-and-D players, which I thought was fascinating as it pertains to other guys that we should be looking at for the Sacramento Kings. Also, we got a texter that is worried about Keegan Murray being the next Tyrese if the Kings don't extend him. So we will answer that question as well. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Progressive knows when you're in your RV, you're already on vacation. That's when you become Vacation You, who just camped where there's absolutely no shade. Even though regular you burns easily. In fact, Vacation You burns too, but is too stubborn to admit it, which is why regular you gets in trouble at the dermatologist, because Vacation You doesn't do doctors. So bundle your RV with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-859-6688. 800-859
800-859-6688. 800-859-6688.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So we had a huge new business pitch.
Attention, all hands on deck.
When, boom, our only printer was fried.
Up in smoke, like your chances of landing that account.
Well, I just sent the file to Staples. Devin, the print associate, was on it. She had it printed and bound same day.
So where's the drama?
There wasn't any. Staples made it super easy.
Inconceivable. For the product, services, and experts you need, Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the biggest selection, the best prices, and unbeatable customer service. Check them out online, SacSuperstore.com, for the guaranteed lowest price on Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Open until 10 o'clock and right across from Hagen Oaks Golf Course. SacSuperstore.com.
I want to break down. And Kevin writes, the deeper we go into the NBA playoffs, the more one truth gets hammered home. If you've got a guy on the floor who can't shoot or defend, he's getting exposed and you're probably getting sent home. But the 3-and-D archetype with the guy who just stands in the corner isn't quite enough anymore. All players on the floor must ideally be able to dribble and make quick decisions. So, of course, it made me think about the play-in game. It made me think about the Kings roster in general and what it would look like if they were to get into the playoffs. And basically he's saying any team with a weakness, right, you better either have a dude or have a way to cover that weakness up. And we can take a look at the last game that the Kings played, and obviously it was against the Mavs, and it did not go well, 120-106. Yikes! Because that's the closest thing we have to a playoff game, right? So you look at the starters. Keegan can do both. Domantas Sabonis, not great defensively, but I wouldn't count him as a one-sided player, right? You have DeMar DeRozan, who we know he cannot shoot the three, and he cannot defend. Zach LaVine can shoot the three, but he cannot defend. Keon Ellis, I think, is perfect as far as this is what Kevin O'Connor is talking about. Keon Ellis is a perfect archetype. I also think about the Jaden. Jalen was the one on the Kings for a hot second, who we don't know if he was ever in Sacramento or not. The Jaden McDaniels of the world, those guys. Because I think that Jaden McDaniels, I think the line, and this guy's going to be available, is Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I think the line of the Andre Robersons of the past, with the last time the Thunder were relevant, that is now Derek Jones Jr., Nickeil Alexander-Walker, where you're going to leave them open because you have to, but even those guys are shooters now, as well as being able to defend. That is what Kevin O'Connor is saying. There are no more, we can have one dude on the floor that just defends. Because that you can have that in the regular season, but you cannot have that in the playoffs or you will be sent home. We can look at the box score right now for both teams. Pascal Siakam, both. Aaron Nesmith, both. Miles Turner, centers are just weird in general. But
we're talking about wings.
Yes, exactly. Andrew Nembhard, both. Tyrese Haliburton, he's your dude. And we're going to cover. And they got at Tyrese Haliburton last night. Tyrese Haliburton didn't have an outstanding game. He had the moment. But they were finding a way to get Tyrese into pick and rolls, and they were abusing that. Lou Dort, both. Jalen Williams, both. And kind of a dude as well. Chet Holmgren, like we said, just a unicorn. Cason Wallace, both, and kind of a bad decision on probably shouldn't have started, by the way. And Shea, obviously, a dude. So that right there, and we can even look at the benches. Obi Toppin, both. Well, I don't know about both, but he can do enough.
He can three.
Yes, he can three. Benedict Mathurin, both. TJ McConnell, you're still going to have gadget guys. Your gadget guys aren't going to get 20 minutes, right? McConnell didn't get 20. Ben Shepherd didn't get 20. Benedict Mathurin didn't even get 20. And Thomas Bryant didn't get 20. Caruso, both. Isaiah Hartenstein, center, and he was under 20 minutes. Isaiah Joe, both. He only played 11 minutes. Aaron Wiggins, 9 minutes. So the guys that are a little bit wonkier, they're not getting, if you're getting, I would say even 15 and up, right? But definitely 20 and up, you're fitting some type of archetype where it's center, wing, or dude. That's basically it in the playoffs.
So at first I thought about, we used to say 3 and D as if it was a specialized skill set, but now it's 3 and D and ball handling.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Klay Thompson was 3 and D because he would take like 4 dribbles a game. And
he was allergic to dribbling.
Yeah, exactly. And that player doesn't exist. Even Duncan Robinson is out here driving to the rim now. And like Duncan Robinson was the dude who couldn't hit like a layup. And I guess my next thought after that was, if we were coming up with like the 5-tool, like in baseball, we say a 5-tool player.
Mm-hmm.
What would be the 5-tool player equivalent in the NBA, right? It would be spot up 3-point shooting, lengthy defense, ability to defend one-on-one. So let's say 3D. Would you go ball handling? Or when I say ball handling, I mean like not Jaylen Brown getting clowned for not being able to dribble with his left hand kind of situation.
I think who you're describing Pascal Siakam. Now Pascal, he's not a great shooter from 3, but he's improved.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, and obviously they're in the finals, so that's why the Pacers are in my head. But Pascal Siakam, to me, is pretty close to a 5-tool player from a basketball standpoint.
But I guess the next step up is like, okay, you can defend, you can shoot threes, you can ball handle. Then you kind of have to be a quote-unquote bucket getter.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is like the other team's on an 8-0 run, you can just get a bucket and stop the run.
Mm-hmm.
Like just one-on-one, you have to get a bucket. You can get a bucket on anyone, right? Because that's the thing about, I'd say to a certain extent, Zach LaVine, right? Zach LaVine may not have the defense. Zach LaVine may not have the elite ball handling skills, but you need a bucket. That dude can get you a bucket. Like just one-on-one isolation. And that is a skill set I think is underappreciated at times. Just being able to be a bucket getter at all 3 levels is something that...
And I was going to bring up DeRozan until you said all 3 levels.
Yes. But I think that bucket getter at all 3 levels thing is what separates Jalen Williams, who we think of as a 3 and D wing, from Jaden McDaniels.
Well,
right?
The funny thing about being a 5-tool is in baseball is being able to do all those things above average, or I guess elite, versus being a jack of all trades kind of master of none. Because if your arm is just a little bit better, but it's not outstanding, if you hit, you got 3 home runs a game, but or 3 home runs a game, 3 home runs a season, but that's nothing really to write home about. You hit about 270, which isn't bad. You could be a 5-tool player, because I'm thinking, isn't Kyle Kuzma kind of a 5-tool player? He can do everything, just not.
He's not a great defender.
He's not. You would call him a good defender. That's what I'm saying. 5-tool is funny to me because it's, well, don't you have to be You have to be elite in one thing and just not terrible, or a couple things and not terrible in others.
Right, but isn't that the old, like, Ozzie Smith thing? Is like Ozzie Smith was a 5-tool player, but he was the best defensive shortstop of all time.
But that's why I think that Derek Jones Jr. and Jaden McDaniels, that's the new art. Everybody wants dudes like that because they don't handle the basketball. But I saw Jaden McDaniels, he was making floaters this season. And he can, obviously, that's the guy that the other team has to leave somebody, because you have your other scorers on the floor, your Anthony Edwards, your James Harden, guys like that. So it's a pick your poison. The point is now your poison burns more than how it did 5 years ago, obviously 10 years ago. And that's just the offensive evolution of basketball as well.
Right, and different skill sets have different values, right? Because those undersized point guards who are awesome, right? You could go to Brunson or Darius Garland or whoever else, like they're not, or Tyler Hero, like they're not defending, but they have some skill set that intrinsically makes them more valuable as a 3 or a 4-tool player who also can't defend one-on-one. Or maybe you scheme around that. I'm not exactly sure, but Kevin O'Connor's making the point. If you don't have either 3 or D or playmaking ability on offense, then you're essentially a liability.
Right. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. We want to answer that text that the 916 sent in about if I am worried that the Kings will not extend Keegan Murray. We also have some NFL to get to on a Football Friday. We have some sound from Mike Tannenbaum calling the Niners a big 3 and discussing their record within that big 3. Who are some of the other big 3s in the NFL and where do they rank? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Allen Stiles here with your Sacktown Sports Injury Update, brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. Jose Leclerc, right-handed pitcher out with that right lat strain, recently began playing catch, though the A's expect a long recovery process before he returns to action. Gio Urshela had an MRI which confirmed a left hamstring strain. He is sidelined from baseball activity for the time being with no timeline for a return yet. That was your Sacktown Sports Injury Update, brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. Hey, I'm Allen Stiles. Have an injury? Call Downtown. Downtown LA Law Group, an injury law firm, has many happy clients in Sacramento and the surrounding areas who have called Downtown. Get paid for your injuries from slip and falls or auto accidents. One of their most recent settlements was $1.5 million for a motorcycle accident. Have you had an auto accident? Call Downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222 and visit them at calldowntown.com.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
Get ready for a night out with Jordan Davis. It's Country in the Park 2, Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Along with the special guests Mitchell Tenpenny, Low Cash, Vincent Mason, and Abriana. Make it a family day out with food trucks, games, dancing, and more. Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo with Michelob Ultra. Tickets are available now at CITPFest.com.
At Spud, we power local business with incentives on clean energy equipment, tools to manage electricity usage and save money, tailored solutions from dedicated strategic account advisors, and 50% lower rates than neighboring utilities, all while doing more for the planet with clean energy solutions. Savings, reliability, personalized service, clean energy, helping local businesses thrive. That's our clean power promise. Learn more at smud.org.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave here for Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room, inviting you to come join them every Wednesday for their midweek madness drawing, giving away $2,000 in total cash starting at 6 p.m. It's a safe and friendly environment, plenty of well-lit parking available, and it's conveniently located right there in downtown Sacramento. And remember, best food, best service, best games, 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
The Giant Summer Sale is here. Get giant savings on our giant selection only at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save during the Giant Summer Sale and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop. KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports, 1140. Your home for Kings Talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
We can get to this text. Got some NFL coming up too. But how dare, this is what annoys me about the New York Knicks, man. And I know being in Northern California, we hate on, at least I do, LA a lot because LA thinks everything revolves around them. I don't know that LA is anything compared to New York. Every writer right now in New York, we've seen, okay, fine. We saw Mike Brown. Still haven't seen Taylor Jenkins, by the way, connected to the Knicks. Taylor Jenkins, I don't know what's going on there, but nobody wants Taylor Jenkins. Just nobody cares about him.
He's on that Cliff Kingsbury trip to Thailand right now. He's just not picking up his phone.
Just cash me out. We've seen Mike Brown. We've seen other names get brought up. Every day now it is a new, and I read that the Knicks are going to ask permission to talk to Jason Kidd. I don't know how that works. I don't know if the Mavericks can just say no.
Yeah, they absolutely can.
So,
but according to Scoop Robinson, they're not going to do that. They're saying he gets to choose what he wants.
Hey, if you love him, let him go.
Well, they would probably have to trade for him because he's under contract. Kind of like Sean Payton.
If you love him, let him go. If they love you, they'll come back home. So it was Jason Kidd yesterday. Today, it is another coach that currently has a job, Chris Finch. New York just thinks, oh, no, it is. Oh, yeah, your little job that you're working, Western Conference Finals, Anthony Edwards. No. Come over here. We're the Knicks.
Oh, you're even skipping one. Do you remember the one earlier in the week originally? It was for like 2 hours. The Knicks are interested in interviewing Ime Udoka, and the Rockets were like...
I saw that for a hot second.
Yeah, you know why you didn't see it anymore? Because the Rockets saw it and said, go pound sand. We're not going to let you interview Ime Udoka.
So everybody else picks between, coaches, assistant coaches that don't currently have jobs. Since the Knicks are good again, we can just get whoever we want. Why don't you go get Spoelstra? Just go get Spoelstra, why don't you? Just go get Spoelstra with an assistant coach as Mark Daigneault. Mark Daigneault, the Knicks think that Mark Daigneault, if they call, should just leave the finals right now. And Rick Carlisle should leave the finals right now because you have an opportunity to coach the Knicks and we're actually good again. It makes me sick. This is why I tried to enjoy the Knicks being bad as long as possible. And I got friends that are Knicks fans, and I love them. But this type of stuff right here is ridiculous.
I will say, this is what real connections look like. Leon Rose, Worldwide Wes, they're turning every stone to see what they can do with this coaching job. That's what putting your connections to work looks like.
Is that putting your connections to work, or is that we think that this brand is this strong and we think this market is this strong? If Leon Rose was in Sacramento, he is not interviewing dudes that already have jobs.
Well, he also wouldn't be in the conference finals either.
And he wouldn't be in Sacramento, period. But if he was, nobody in Sacramento is going to have the stones. And how many times can I say? You know what I was thinking for the summer? We should do a secret word, and I have to say, because somebody on the text line yesterday said, Kyle, have a beverage every time Allen says cooked. He says cooked all the time. It's cooked, right? So I was saying we should do a secret contest where if I say a certain word, so today would be, how many times can I say stones? Okay, so if I said stones 5 whatever times, people would call in and win something. I got to tell it to Boss Man.
Well, it is the summer, so we should leave no stones unturned.
There you go, and that would count too. So I don't think that they'd have the stones to start calling people, say, "Hey, it's the Sacramento Kings. I know you currently have a job with the Timberwolves, but do you want to come on over?" It just wouldn't happen.
Right, but let's make it the Kings who have, in theory, Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns and just went to the conference finals.
Yeah.
I do think Jason Kidd would consider leaving the Mavericks.
I guess.
Very specifically because the Mavericks are an absolute dumpster fire, right? Like, it's hard to imagine the Kings not being a dumpster fire and an actual desirable job. Like, could you imagine if 2 years from now, the Sacramento, and I'm not, again, it's not apples to apples, but 2 years from now, the Sacramento Kings make the conference finals for the first time in 25 years, and they fired Doug Christie? I think you could get a better coach potentially than Doug Christie. Maybe it's Chris Finch. Maybe it's Jason Kidd. I don't know who that option is. Maybe it's Taylor Jenkins. I don't know.
Well, it ain't him, but yes.
But if that happened, I do think people would be interested in lining up for that job if you're talking about one of the 5 best teams in the NBA ready-made.
Let's get to this text that came through, and we want to help out this texter who says, guys, in all seriousness, do either of you have any fear or concern that the Kings will not extend Keegan? I'm getting anxiety picturing Keegan becoming the next Tyrese if the Kings make another stupid mistake. I think because of those mistakes, 916, and because Keegan's a good player, don't get me wrong, it's not going to happen. Keegan will be extended.
Just depends on the money.
Right. If now,
it's not a matter of wanting to or not. It's just a negotiation.
Yes. Now, if it's less about whether or not they offer him and more about, well, could they possibly shortchange him? And that's what happened with Kuminga. Shortchange him. They don't come to an agreement because Keegan and his camp says we're worth more than that. And after that, he becomes a restricted free agent. And then they're still not done. Then it would be a gamble. I don't think it's a good fit with the Warriors and Kuminga, but the Warriors kind of won that battle. They did not. The Kuminga saying, well, I'm worth more than that. He actually, we don't know what the report was, but he actually, or what they initially offered him, but he probably lost money.
Well, they avoided a mistake. The Warriors did. I don't think they won by having a drawn-out contract dispute with Jonathan Kuminga.
Right, but I think you could say that depending on what they lose for him, they lost the Jordan Poole thing. Some of that isn't their fault, but they lost the Jordan Poole thing.
But they won a championship, so you should say whatever.
Yeah. I'm just saying, when you look at Keegan is going to have, both sides are going to have to weigh how much they want to gamble. The quick way to answer your question, 916, am I worried about Keegan not being in a Sacramento Kings jersey? What? That would be not this season, but the season after that, if he left in restricted free agency? No, I'm not. And I know we talked about Keegan for Kuminga yesterday, and it was funny. Both sides were saying the Kings would never do that or the Warriors would never do that. So that sounds to me like it's an interesting deal. I don't see the Kings. I think that, again, the embarrassment of this season with a budget with Tyrese Haliburton, somebody that you had, and the lack of young talent that you have outside of Keegan, and I would say Keegan, who's almost 20, he's about to be 25, and Keon Ellis as well. You don't have any 22-year-old studs and 21-year-old studs on the team or anybody on the come up right now, and you don't have a first-round pick. I don't see a world where Keegan doesn't get extended. The only worry would be they go cheap on Keegan. He says no, and his gamble pays off. He has a career season, and he gets priced out.
Which, in fairness, the difference between Kuminga and Keegan, too, is that there's a bunch of teams that will have cap space next summer, as opposed to right now, where there's only the Nets and maybe the Wizards.
Yeah.
Which, actually, that would be funny if the Wizards end up, like, sending Marcus Smart back to the Warriors or something like that. But, yeah, it's not apples to apples.
Kyle, let's move from apples to oranges as we talk a little NFL. Senior segue strikes again. What is that? Give me a number.
It's about a 3.
Yeah, it's probably
3 stars out of 5.
Okay, that's probably a 3. Mike Tannenbaum was on NFL Live, and he had some things to say, calling the Niners skill positions a big 3, which I'd never heard before. This is what he broke down.
Less likely to use the word rebuild, which they don't. They don't rebuild. They've been consistently very good year after year. So what are their top 3 priorities?
All right, Hannah, number 1, can their young defensive replacements step up and be at least serviceable or productive for them? Remarkably, they lost 95 starts in free agency, but it's guys like the Dre Greenlaws of the world, Talal Hufanga, guys that are really important. So Michael Williams in particular has to take a big step for them. Secondly, can they replace Deebo Samuel? Guys, 26% of their passing game went through Deebo Samuel. So can Ricky Pearsall step up? Can Brandon Ayuk take a big leap this year? That's going to be really important for their offense. And then lastly, the big 3, can they stay healthy? That's Brock Purdy, George Kittle, and Christian McCaffrey. They are 20-6 over the last 3 years when those 3 players are on the field together. If those 3 are healthy, you're right. We're not talking about rebuild. We're talking about contending.
Yeah, when McCaffrey is hurt, it just affects so many things with the 49ers.
A big 3. And that's a great number there, Kyle, about what exactly they've done together. 20-6. That's crazy.
I'm guessing it was probably higher than that before, because when it was Brock and McCaffrey, wasn't it like 19-1?
Yeah.
Up until until that losing streak during the Super Bowl season.
I was trying to think of other big 3s. I don't think it has to be because you have Kittle's a tight end, so I don't think it has to be the same. I would just say quarterback and then 2 skill positions. Okay, yeah. So the one that sticks out to me, like I would say. The Bengals, right?
Yeah, with Burrow, Higgins, and Jamar.
That's right. I'd have the Bengals. I'd have the Eagles with Saquon, Jalen, and A.J. Brown.
Okay. I agree there.
What's funny is we putting Lamar, King Henry, and
Mark Andrews.
I was going to say Zay Flowers.
I think it's probably Zay Flowers now, but I'm also punishing Mark Andrews for dropping that one pass last year.
I think the big 3 thing is just a different way to look at it, because I don't think the Bills have a big 3. I don't think the Chiefs do. The Chiefs,
they got a big 2.
They got a big 2, and it's huge, but they got them and Xavier Worthy running a go route.
I think it was for a minute when they won the 2 Super Bowls. That last year changed because he got hurt, but it was Pacheco for a minute there.
Yeah, that dude, I'm surprised, when with basketball players, and I'm not doing the soft thing, even though I'm in the elder statesman millennial here. I'm not doing the soft thing, but as soon as the team loses, NBA comes out, so-and-so was injured. Austin Reeves needs surgery, and LeBron actually had this. We watched Pacheco come back way too soon. We just acted like,
oh, he's not good anymore.
His betting lines were exactly the same.
That brother broke his leg and came back 6 weeks later. That was insane.
And nobody cared.
No, they traded for Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt was fine. Pacheco decided, I'm going to play through a broken leg, and playing through a broken leg is what ruined Michael Thomas's career. So I'm not saying Pacheco's career is going to be ruined, but we've seen it before.
Well, I'll tell you, there's a big 3 that's on the horizon. And we're going to break it down the other side, as well as ML football list coaches on the hot seat. You'll never believe what coach is on this list. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave here for American Energy, and oh my goodness, I'm born and raised here. I know it gets hot, but my goodness, we're already seeing 100-degree days. Listen to me. You do not want your system to conk out in the middle of June or July or August with one of those big 100-degree stretches. You want to make sure you're good all summer long. And my friends at American Energy Heating and Air can do that with a $24.50 tune-up right now. That's half price. And if you need a new system, $3,500 off, up to $3,500 off in rebates for qualified systems. They've been around since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Call them right now, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Somebody said, talking about I think we can say it, the beverage game, or Kyle, we're not saying what he has to take a drink of.
Take a drink.
If Kyle had to take a drink every time Allen said, obviously, he could not drive home.
We got to just come up with a list here. So it's Stones for today.
Yeah, there's specific. I get on sticks for the specific day.
What did the texter say yesterday? Because I saw that text. I just forgot. Cooked
for sure.
What are we doing?
We gotta get these shirts made, man.
Can I tell you a story?
Right now?
No, I'm saying that's your thing.
That's a good one, Kyle.
Can I tell you a story? And then Dave just throws his headset across the room every time
Well, now I just don't say anything. I say, that one time.
I was thinking about this.
Yeah, I was at home and other words, just having some fun on a Friday. Other words that if it was a beverage game and we were listening to the Allen Stiles Show. I don't even know. This started with one texter yesterday saying cooked. Cooked is still the top one.
Yeah, this thing is cooked. Or something is cooked.
Yes, this thing is cooked like my family likes their steaks. Any other terms or words you have? We're having fun.
We're going to come up with the master list. You know how we did the list of types of Kings fans? We're going to come up with the definitive list of Allen Stiles sayings.
There you go. 916 says Dak, CD Lamb, and Pickens, they're going to be a problem in the NFC. I can't fall for it, 916. So we were discussing big threes as Mike Tannenbaum. He didn't say that the Niners were a big three. He just referred to them as a big three. Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, and obviously Brock Purdy. So we were talking about other big threes in the NFL. I am not calling anything with the Cowboys a big three until they do something. But I'll tell you this much. This brother Geno Smith in a dome with Brock Bowers, who will be the best tight end in the NFL.
I think he already is.
And Ashton Genty. Oh, we got a big three in Vegas coming. Let me tell you that right now. Stop playing with me, Kyle. Stop playing. I know you're looking at trying to find a drop. Other big.
Doesn't really matter.
No, it does to me.
Doesn't really matter.
Other big threes, there's really not a lot. I mean, you know who was a big three for a hot second and then the weather changed? Tua, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle. Those first couple of years with Mike McDaniel, they were cooking.
Well, yeah, but then Tua gets hurt, and then Tyreek Hill gets hurt, and then Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle, by the way, I don't know if you've been paying – I know we're going to get to coaches on the hot seat in a second. This kind of leads into it, but I don't know if you've been seeing what the Miami people are saying about Jalen Waddle. He's one of those brothers that is like every time he steps on the field, just something goes wrong.
Oh, I've been saying that forever. We used to have arguments with, a former producer and friend of the station, Nate, and we would go back and forth about Brandon Ayuk and Jalen Waddle a lot. Who is the better receiver? And I'd always say, I think Waddle could be, but you can't make the club in the tub. That's what a coach told me a long time ago.
But they're literally like, we can't play him on multiple snaps.
No, you can't.
Which is crazy.
You can't. I'm looking through here, Kyle. We talked about Saquon, A.J. Brown, and Jalen Hurts. The Commanders, no, it's just Jaden. It's just Jaden. Debo and McLaurin.
Yeah.
McLaurin, Debo, and Jaden.
And Brian Robinson's a good player.
The Bears.
Zach Ertz.
Yeah, Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz is, I'll tell you what, prop talk, take Zach Ertz. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. Chicago Bears, I don't know, man. I don't know.
We'll see.
Lions, okay.
Yes,
are the Lions a big three without Jared Goff?
The Lions are
Amon-Ra and the 2 running backs.
And they just have they also have Laporta.
Yeah.
Like they've got just the super team of skill position players and Jared Goff.
Atlanta Falcons, we'll see. Vikings, we'll see. I mean, Vikings, Justin Jeff, they do.
We're just doing the quarterback part.
Yeah, it's just JJ. What is JJ?
If you make Justin Jefferson the quarterback, then yes, it's Justin Jefferson and Aaron Jones and then the quarterback.
Is Justin Jefferson good enough that you could say the Vikings are a big three before even watching them play with Addison, JJ, or like I said, Justin Jefferson, and whatever JJ McCarthy?
I've seen that brother turn Kirk Cousins into a Pro Bowler.
That's what I'm saying. You could probably just call him a big three, and I haven't seen McCarthy even play.
I've told you this before. Like I'm a young child, so I have only but so much experience watching football. In my 15 years of watching football, Justin Jefferson might be the best receiver I've ever seen. Like Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones, doesn't matter. Justin Jefferson might be the best wide receiver I've ever seen.
Let's see what else we got here. I'm going through all these teams. Saints, no. What about the Bucks? That's an interesting one.
Mike Evans,
and
what was it? Number 6 ranked running back in the NFL.
Bucky Irving. I was going to say Godwin.
Who?
Godwin.
Is he still there?
Yeah, I believe so. He got injured, and I think he ended up staying.
Okay. For some reason, I thought, he is still there. For some reason, I thought he went to like the Colts or something.
Yeah, I think Evans one of the most underrated wide receivers in the NFL. To me,
yeah, only played 7 games last year.
Yeah, Godwin got hurt in that game when it didn't really matter.
Yep,
and they cooked themselves. Oh, I said cooked again.
We got it. Should we have a sound effect for it or something?
By the way, I had a teacher back in and I got rid of this for the most part, but I had a teacher I'll never forget, Mr. Pelster. Okay, and you can just tell he was the English teacher that nobody wanted, and if you played football, you kind of just didn't get him. But I didn't play football, so somebody had to get him. And what he would do is if you said like, and he would do this right sophomore year, you wouldn't know, then you caught on. So you walk into his class, and you know me, I'm a talker. So, Alan, did you read whatever book we were supposed to read? Or he asks a question, and you answer it. So what he would do is, I will say, I'm getting on my soapbox with this old school stuff. Teachers and parents back then, they knew how to punish you. So this is what he would do. You would start talking, and he would hold up his hand, right? And he would just start counting with his finger. So 1, 2, 3, and nobody knew what he was doing. So you start talking and you say, yeah, so like when I thought about like blah, 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 blah.
He's counting the likes.
He's counting the likes. And it worked for me because I wasn't trying to get embarrassed. And to this day, I really do not say like that much, all because of Mr. Pelster.
You know what's funny is I was kind of the same way, and a lot of people were too. I think it's just the insecurity thing is why people do it. It's kind of just a tick. But now that I've become more of a broadcaster, I've like polished it out of me, and I notice it working in real life. Because like even up to like 5 years ago, well, no, but that's an actual like.
I'll stop.
You gotta.
I'm counting.
That one is an actual comparison. I'm using a simile right there. So as a broadcaster, it's like gone out of me at this point. See, I did it again.
Yep, I hear you. Let's get to these coach rankings. Well, we're way over time. We'll get to these coach rankings on the other side Where does Kyle Shanahan fall as far as who could be on the hot seat down south, Sacktown Sports?
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your boat wins.
What are you going to do? Take the boat out for a spin or go mail something? Boat wins! Are we cleaning the patio or taking the boat out fishing? Boat wins! Are we skipping that eye exam to go sailing? Boat wins!
Rescheduling eye exams can be a nightmare.
All right, fine. Eye exam, then boat. Yeah!
With Progressive, you can bundle your boat with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings on your boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Hagen Oaks wants to be your go-to total golf game fitter. Try the TrackMan experience, the very best technology to fit your metalwoods and irons. The new cutting-edge putter fitting studio with its $30,000 worth of technology is ready for your fitting. Hagen Oaks will help you find the best putter for your game. Hagen Oaks offers more technology, more choices, and more service. Schedule your fitting at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio by calling 916-808-2531, 808-2531 for more.
Are you thinking about buying a new car? Well, maybe you're on the fence. Let me help you out. Kyle Draper here from Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. From the first time I stepped into the MP of Stockton showroom, I knew I made the right choice. I settled on the all-electric EQS SUV. It's comfortable, stylish, and most importantly, it's safe. Mercedes-Benz has the reputation of making the finest cars in the world. Now it's your turn to experience what I already know. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton is the best car buying experience you'll ever have. It's just a short drive down I-5 or anytime at mbfstockton.com.
The Hagen Oaks Cutting Edge Putter Fitting Studio offers you more technology, more choices, and more service. Hagen Oaks wants to be your go-to total golf game fitter. With $30,000 worth of state-of-the-art technology ready for your fitting, Hagen Oaks will help you make your best putting stroke while finding the best putter design, shape, hosel, length, and loft for your game. Schedule your fitting at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531 for more.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Comcast Business, powering possibilities. Well, looking for something positive in the midst of a dismal stretch for the A's, center fielder Denzel Clark, finishing his second weekend in the big leagues and playing in his hometown of Toronto, went 4 for 9 with a home run in the last 3 games of the series and also made a sensational Spider-Man leaping catch over the wall in center field, robbing Alejandro Kirk of a home run. Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. It's how retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing must-visit shops. And it's how healthcare offices become data-managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140
on Sacktown Sports.
ML Football has come out with a top 5 coaches on the hot seat for next season. Also, we're going to check my sanity again. We checked my sanity last Friday, and that led to a conversation about DeMar DeRozan on the Warriors. I think it was for Jonathan Kuminga. Today, we are checking my sanity in about 10 minutes as it pertains to Kevin Durant. And if everybody else gets to have some fun with where Kevin Durant's going next, well, damn it, I want to have some fun too out here in Sacramento. So that's coming up. We check the Friday sanity check is coming up in about 15 minutes, bottom of the hour. But we have these top 5 NFL head coaches on the hot seat, according to ML Football. And at number 5, Kyle, I'm kind of surprised this guy still has a job. He is a former, we are alumni at Temple together. Todd Bowles, he played for Temple football. The Buccaneers, number 5. I'm surprised he's still coaching.
They've won the division 4 years in a row.
Yeah, but the whole thing, it's NFC South.
They've won a playoff game.
That is a division where you can win and still get canned. Because that division's so bad.
They've won a playoff game. Well, no, last year they were a bounce off the upright away from winning a playoff game 2 years in a row. I don't understand what you're doing there with Todd Bowles.
It always feels like he just has a look on his face like I'm about to get canned. It just does.
I wish I had access to the Twitter right now because I would put up a poll. Does Todd Bowles always look like he's about to get canned?
He does. I don't know how to explain it. He just looks like he's a game away from getting canned.
What are we doing there? I don't have my black sound effect there ready, but what are we doing there?
Watch it. Number 4, Kyle Shanahan of the 49ers. Head coaches on the hot seat for next season. Number 3, Mike Tomlin of the Steelers. Number 2, Zach Taylor of the Bengals. And number 1, Mike McDaniel of the Dolphins. I would obviously, I would swap Kyle Shanahan and Todd Bowles. Any names that should be on the list that aren't on the list?
Okay, I'm just thinking off the top. One is Steichen in Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
Like, brother, you cannot go 3 years without making the playoffs one time.
You got a quarterback.
In the similar vein, I was just thinking of like coaches going into year 3 that haven't made the playoffs yet. I guess it'd be him. It would be the Cardinals coach, Gannon. It would be...
I have a dark horse.
Oh. Darker than... Well, I almost had a bad joke there.
Yeah, well, I was going to...
The one I'm really surprised by is Tomlin being on there. I thought we all agreed that Mike Tomlin was an excellent Hall of Fame coach and that he's not the problem.
No way. A lot of people still bring up Tomlin. He's a rah-rah.
I know.
If you're a rah-rah guy... If you are Todd Bowles, you could get canned at any point in time. That's number 1. If you are a rah-rah guy, you could also get canned at any point in time.
Sure, but just because he doesn't call plays doesn't mean he's not a smart football mind.
I'm just saying, I don't make the rules.
I thought we all agreed Tomlin was not the problem and that he was going to keep getting extended as long as he wanted.
You know who I was going to say, though, is a kind of a weird one, not because everything's relative, not because of them being bad, but getting over the hump. I wouldn't be surprised, man, if they just start saying, if you start looking around, if you can't get over the top and this quarterback isn't getting any younger, he just got married to Haley Steinfeld, by the way. I would look at the Bills and say, hey, I don't want to do it, right? But Sean McDermott, what are we? It's 2017 now. Do we need to look elsewhere?
That is a good one. That is a good shout. Because
there's 2. There's you stink and there's you can't get over there's you're fired because you stink or you fired because you can't get over the hump. And he would be the latter, obviously.
Because the last time the heat was on him was 2 years ago and they ran off like a 6-game win streak to end the season after, what is it? They fired Ken Dorsey and everyone was like, oh, this is just a move to try and save his job. And it turns out Ken Dorsey was actually a bad offensive coordinator and they won like 6 games in a row. But that is a good shout. With those expectations, if the start of next season doesn't go the way they think it will, then you might just make Joe Brady the coach.
Right. And he would probably get a job. Again, the coaches that can't get over the hump, normally they pop up somewhere else pretty quick, like Andy Reid. Andy Reid didn't, and yeah, I got a little squirrely at the end of the Eagles, but everybody knew he was a good coach.
Right. Or what if I make it like John Fox, right? John Fox went to the Super Bowl with 2 different teams. He was always going to find another job at some point. You know, I'm thinking of, because like Andy Reid went to a Super Bowl and like 5. I don't think McDermott is his resume is not as strong as Andy Reid on the Eagles was, but someone would certainly give him a chance.
Right. Hey, okay, we're good now. Thank you, Sean, but I don't know if you can take us past that next level.
Even the same point, Doug Peters, I know they won the Super Bowl, but like everyone was like, okay, we know you're good enough to Nick Foles may have won you a Super Bowl, but we recognize you're good enough as a coach to get a second chance.
And right. Right, and which is so funny because now you have a Sirianni who could find him. Well, we don't know what Sirianni is. We just know that the Eagles, they took care of business.
I'll say the flip side, though, is if Zach Taylor were to get fired by the Bengals, not getting another job.
Is he Taylor Jenkins?
He is, for all intents and purposes, yes. Ain't no way. He is, who is that coach of the Cavs that they fired before Tyronn Lue?
Oh, yeah,
Blatt?
David Blatt.
Yeah, he's David Blatt. I know you're not a good coach, but you also have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase.
You know who, and this guy has always cracked me up. You know who's the college version of this, and I've said this forever? Gene Chizik. Gene Chizik had Cam Newton, won a championship, and I believe right now, I think he got that bought him like 5 years of coaching, but everyone just kind of, it took everyone a bit longer to figure out, oh, Cam Newton was just really good.
It's even funnier than you think. So he went and did television for a couple years and then came out of de facto retirement to be the defensive coordinator at North Carolina.
That's right, where he still is.
No, he's not anymore.
Oh, no, he's done.
But it was either his first game or his second game. It was that game against James Madison where James Madison scored like 70 points against North Carolina. It was like Gene Chizik came out of retirement just to give up 70 points to a group of 5 team.
So all those guys are the same. As far as Kyle Shanahan being on this list, you know, it's funny, man. He has done more than Sean McDermott, but it's the same vein. And that's why everyone compares him to Andy Reid in that, yeah, he can be on whoever's hot seat, ML football, whoever. He can be on anybody's hot seat. If they can Kyle Shanahan, he is immediately getting a head coaching job again. That's the tough part about these over the hump coaches, right? Sean McDermott, I'm pretty sure would get another job. I know Kyle Shanahan would get a job, but that can't be the reason that you don't move forward if you don't think you can get over the hump. I think the whole situation now is if he is in that realm of where Andy Reid was when it started to get a little sticky. You have all the NFC championship runs. You have all the Super Bowl run. I think Andy only had one. You have a Super Bowl run, and then it turns into, oh, well, now we're a wild card team. Oh, well, now we're a wild card team again, and we lose in the first round. Oh, we're a wild card team. We lost in the second round. And then it becomes, okay, I think maybe we've juiced this thing as much as we can. So Kyle, that's where he is. If we're comparing it to the Andy Reid situation in Philadelphia. So Kyle if he does not power through it and it turns into, okay, we went from NFC championship runs, deep playoff runs to now wild card runs. And we just paid Brock, who we swore up and down as an organization is our guy. Maybe we have a problem. He's not there yet, but I think he's about 3 years away.
For Shanahan specifically, you've just hit on the perfect example because I pointed this out last year after the Niners lost the Super Bowl, which is I'm going to give you a resume of a coach through 6 seasons. And this is, again, after last year. Made it to 4 NFC championship games in their first 6 years. Lost their first NFC championship game to a Rams team that ultimately went on to win the Super Bowl. Gets made fun of for poor clock management, and lost a Super Bowl by 3 points, giving a superstar quarterback their 3rd championship. That's Andy Reid in 2005.
Yeah.
It's also Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
Like that. Kyle Shanahan's first 7 years are exactly the same as Andy Reid. You can make the Donovan McNabb to Jimmy Garoppolo comparisons if you want, or Donovan McNabb to Brock Purdy comparison, or whatever you want to do. But like, Shanahan is essentially a star quarterback away from potentially being the Andy Reid career arc, right? Andy Reid was Kyle Shanahan until Andy Reid got Patrick Mahomes.
You know, it's really funny. In a different situation, right? You move on from Sean McDermott and you have Josh Allen. It feels like you can find a coach to get the most out of Josh Allen. Josh Allen kind of is who he is. When you draft the last pick in the draft and you turn him into what he is, I do wonder if there is any more connection, right? Jed York and now the new ownership from the Bay Area families that own the Niners, along with John Lynch, obviously. I wonder if they view the connection between Brock and Kyle Shanahan differently, because Brock doesn't have the strongest arm. He's not the greatest athlete. They are getting so much from Brock now. Is there a worry if they move? And we'll see, because like I said, this is we're 2-3 years away, in my opinion. But is there a worry, or Kyle Shanahan kind of hitching his wagon to Brock? Because are we going to bring in somebody else and get the same? And I know you paid Brock now, so you better. But is there a thought of, man, are we sure we're going to get as much out of Brock as Kyle Shanahan does? Where you wouldn't worry about that with, I don't know, but not even Lamar, I would say, because Lamar is Lamar. Lamar, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, it don't matter who coaching them because of the talent that they possess.
I think with Shanahan, we're about 2 years away from being able to answer that question, right? That's the tough part about I'm not saying extending Brock, because they should have extended Brock, but the people who want to say the 49ers are still in a win now Super Bowl mode versus a retooling phase, it's tough because you expect the results now. When I look at it and say, we're not going to know whether the pairing works for 2, maybe 3 years. And that level of patience is hard to weigh against trying to win a Super Bowl now.
It has worked, but they've been stacked, right? And they're not going to be as stacked now.
But it's Brock making $1 million a year.
That's true, too.
Very different circumstances, with Brock being the best contract in the NFL.
From found money to costing money. That is the story of Brock Purdy, and it's a great one. Let me tell you that much. When we return, we have my sanity check. This week's sanity check is about Kevin Durant. Yeah, I'm sending him to Sacramento. Let's do it. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9861. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9861. That's 800-575-9861. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. SubcontractorsUnited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
Come check out Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com, and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, I'm Allen Stiles. Have an injury? Call Downtown. Downtown LA Law Group, an injury law firm, has many happy clients in Sacramento and the surrounding areas who have called Downtown. Get paid for your injuries from slip and falls or auto accidents. One of their most recent settlements was $1.5 million for a motorcycle accident. Have you had an auto accident? Call Downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222, and visit them at calldowntown.com.
Get a great deal on your new Silverado at the Maida Chevy Silverado Superstore. Great selection, great factory financing and incentive, and great Maida Chevy savings on every new Silverado in stock. Online at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Live and local
It's Allen Stiles.
on Sacktown Sports.
15 minutes, people are going to love us or hate us because in 15 minutes at 1 o'clock on a Feeling Good Friday, a special In Style, Out of Style. And thank you. And the choice is yours. Kyle and I, there's a very interactive segment coming up at 1 o'clock. Kyle and I, and we're doing it because the Kings are at home. Sipping margaritas. Top 5 sports movies, okay? Kyle has his top 5. I have mine. And let me just say, Kyle's definitely, from a millennial versus Gen Z perspective, you would probably guess that Kyle was the millennial and I was, I don't know if that I'm definitely the millennial, but Kyle could actually be Gen X. Kyle could actually be Gen X.
Like,
it is not a very Gen Z list for Kyle. So Kyle might earn some points in some of the OG's book in about 15 minutes.
They don't make sports movies like they used to, man. What am I going to choose? Happy Gilmore 2? That movie looks awful.
Yeah, well, did it come out yet? Because I got to watch.
I've seen all the trailers for it. It's just all celebrity cameos. Just the whole movie is just how many famous people can we get in one movie?
All right, it is time for Allen's sanity check. This one is regarding Kevin Durant. And you know what? I got sick and tired of seeing every single the Spurs. Oh, the Timberwolves. They don't even know if they're going to have a coach. The Knicks are looking at Chris Finch. Oh, the Timberwolves. Oh, the Rockets. Oh, the Knicks. Oh, the Heat. What about us? Okay, if Kevin Durant's price tag is dropping the way we believe it is dropping, why can't we get in the mix, huh? Why can't the Kings get in the mix? He's got something for Draymond Green. Come out to Sacramento, show him you can run California, okay? So I said last night, more like midnight, I was up late. I said, you know what? For the Friday sanity check, I'm bringing Kevin Durant to Sacramento. And this is how I'm doing it. And Kyle, because you were out for our first sanity check of the summer, our summer sanity check. That's the name of the segment now. We did it on air. I want you to tell me, am I crazy or not? Okay? Between Kevin Durant's confusing market and the Suns' refusal to start over, their options might be limited. Can I interest you, and you can help me get there, Kyle. Can I interest you, and this works in Fanspo, in the Kings getting Kevin Durant and Royce O'Neal, and in return, the Suns get Malik Monk, DeMar DeRozan, Terrence Davis to make the money work, and I just have picks and question marks, right? Do the Kings have to give them a first? They have 0 picks,
They
right?
definitely are going to have to give them a first.
So a first-round pick, give me a protection, Kyle's favorite, top 14 protected, whatever. So Malik Monk, DeMar DeRozan, Terrence Davis, and a first-round pick. The Kings get Kevin Durant, Royce O'Neal. Sanity check. Am I crazy?
Is this deal better than the Devin Vassell, Harrison Barnes first-round pick 14 deal?
So you're saying they would get the 14th pick in this draft?
Yes. I'm saying that the Spurs offer of Devin Vassell, Harrison Barnes, and the 14th pick is probably better than this one.
I would argue for Devin Booker, I don't know that. If you're keeping Devin, I don't know that I think the 14th is great. Devin's 30. Devin's 28, 29 years old. I would argue that the Kings right now pieces are better than Devin Vassell and Harrison Barnes. Obviously, the assets are better for outside of it.
Sure.
But that's what I'm saying. Matt Ishbia, and we have some more notes on Matt Ishbia later, who wants to be even more involved, he says, I would argue that the right now piece is for the Kings. So I'm just taking a flyer on the Suns being the Suns and refusing to say die.
Would you be okay if it's Keegan Murray?
Instead of who? This is getting good.
Malik?
What? Okay, so Malik. So sign and trade with Keegan, obviously.
Well, I mean, Keegan's still under contract. You could also just say, Phoenix, you figure it out.
Well, yeah, because I guess, yes, the Kings can take on money and the Phoenix can obviously lose money. So sure. So the Kings keep Malik. So now you have Keegan Murray, DeMar DeRozan, Terrence Davis, and a first-round pick.
The Kings might also have to toss in Valanciunas. Let me see how this works.
Well, that's what I'm saying with the money.
Yeah, the money's a little weird.
That's what I tried to tell you.
Yeah, so if you throw in Valanciunas, it works. But again, I think at that point you just say uncle, and it's not really worth it. So I guess if we're doing this scenario specifically, maybe the market's going to be pretty dry. Maybe they can beat Miami's offer of Wiggins and Duncan Robinson.
That's what I'm saying. These offers.
I guess it's just, can they beat Houston and San Antonio and teams with draft picks?
Now let's go. And that's what we had some fun with, right? And Sam Quinn, I followed him. I'm still waiting for him to follow me back. But that's what we had some fun with earlier this week when Sam Quinn is saying, he's listing all of these players. He says, my feeling on KD and the Rockets, if you can get him for Jalen Green and the number 10, do it. I don't think Green is part of their future, and they don't have minutes for a rookie anyway. But the future Suns picks, Amen, Şengün, Jabari, Tari, and Reed are all off limits. So, and I responded, and I said, brother, that's what are we talking about here? But if he's right, okay, Jalen Green. So you're going to throw Jalen Green, the number 10 with Devin Booker and Bradley Beal? What does that do for the Suns?
I guess I would say, what is DeMar DeRozan, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and not even a first-round pick this year, a first-round pick next year?
If they do that deal with the Rockets, then then Devin Booker's probably out of there within the next 1 to 2 years. And maybe he is.
Okay, but if Devin Booker is out of there, I'm not saying either way, but let's say it doesn't work, right? Because even this deal, you're admitting you're betting on the Suns not saying uncle.
Yeah, which they haven't said uncle.
But if they go that route, wouldn't you rather a 23-year-old or 24-year-old Jalen Green versus a 34-year-old expiring contract of DeMar DeRozan?
And you're getting one of the most highly touted free agents from last season in Malik Monk.
Sure, but you're also getting the number 10 pick in this other Sam Quinn scenario. I'm only making the point. I think a lot of teams who want Kevin Durant want him at a lesser price point, right? Mm-hmm. You're making the point that the Kings' lesser price point is more valuable only because of DeMar DeRozan and the Suns wanting to compete.
That's right.
Which then makes it again, I don't think it's crazy. So if we're doing what did you call it, the summer sanity check?
Yes.
It's you're not insane. You're just making the point Phoenix would value DeMar DeRozan on an expiring contract in a way, or I guess not expiring. There's technically $10 million non-guaranteed next year. Mm-hmm. But you're making the point that Phoenix would rather DeMar DeRozan than anything else potentially on the table from any other team.
And it's a long shot. That's why it's a sanity check. All I needed to hear is that it wasn't insane. So let's just continue with the fun here, right? So now you're looking at a starting lineup of Kevin Durant, Keegan Murray, Domantas Sabonis, Zach LaVine, and KD can handle the rock. I know he does less in his older age.
Yeah, let's say Chris Paul.
And Chris Paul. Let's go. Let's go.
Wow.
Where are we going?
Team AARP over here.
Hey, man.
Let's figure this out. Chris Paul, Kevin Durant. Oh, we would sell so many jerseys.
Oh, my goodness.
So many jerseys. Okay, let me just make the one last point then. If you have to part with Devin Carter, are you still in?
So you're saying
just same deal,
Malik
just toss
DeRozan
and Devin Carter.
Malik DeRozan, a first-round pick, and Devin Carter?
Yes. Is that a bridge too far for you? Because then I feel
KD, for 37-year-old KD, yeah.
Okay, because then I feel like Phoenix is getting the best of both worlds in that situation, but perhaps the Kings are overpaying.
But now let's do it like this. You are a Sacramento Kings fan, and you're Chris Watkins. You were born and bred in this. And you wake up today, and they say, and now you have the ear of Scott Perry, okay? And they say, the Suns say, hey, Malik, DeMar DeRozan, a first-round pick, and Devin Carter, and Kevin Durant is yours.
And Royce O'Neal.
Don't sleep on Royce. We were trying to get Royce O'Neal. How do you say no to that? I don't think you can say no to that. It's funny enough, with Royce O'Neal, I know he's a role player. I'm just not sure you can say no to that.
But then the other part at play is if Kevin Durant doesn't want to go there, you're just saying, we don't care. We'll take you for 1 year. We don't care if you're unhappy. We don't care if you badmouth the situation. We'll just take a disgruntled Kevin Durant for 1 season, at which point, we
don't know that he'll be disgruntled.
If he wanted to come to Sacramento, we probably would have heard about it by now.
No, you never know. Maybe he hasn't thought about it. Maybe he just hasn't come across his, thought process.
Never considered joining the team that just traded De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, I mean, hey, like I said, we all joke about bar rescue. He could be John Taffer out here. This could save his legacy. And all he has to do is get to the playoffs. You don't even got to win.
We also know that good green is legal here, so
yeah,
Kevin likes that.
Hey, the boardroom,
What about the boardroom?
Hey, sometimes you got to burn it up in the boardroom. That's all I'm saying.
I can't say I've ever done that, but to each their own. I guess I just, again, I like the thought exercise, and I'm sure that in some recess of the organization, I'm not saying Scott Perry, someone in the organization is cooking this up as a possibility. I just think basketball wise, the whole thing would be kind of a circus, and I'm not saying it's not a circus now, but if you're mortgaging your short-term future, not your long-term future, but your short-term future on a Kevin Durant trade that would ultimately sell a lot of jerseys, but I don't know if it would make them a champion, then what are we really doing here?
The other thing is, and we're over time, the other thing is too, you would then have, like we said, Domantas Sabonis with 2 years left, Zach LaVine with that last year, which he'll probably still opt into. And if Kevin Durant leaves, now you have all of that cap space because, it's an expiring deal. So it's really about how much will you miss Malik Monk? How much will you miss that pick? Well, not even Malik, no disrespect. How much will you miss the pick and Devin Carter? Yeah, that's really what this comes down to.
Because Royce O'Neal for Malik Monk, that's not that much of a drop.
No, I think it comes down to how much are you willing to wager that pick, just a first-round pick. Let's say they say, no, come on, it's Kevin Durant, no protections. A first-round pick and Devin Carter. I just don't know how you say no if you're the Kings.
And to also play devil's advocate a little bit in your favor, when Kevin Durant leaves, that will probably be a sign and trade. I'm not saying you're going to get a lot, but you're going to probably get something back in a sign and trade if he goes to Miami or wherever.
Or he loves it. Domantas Sabonis stays for 2 more years. Zach LaVine opts in and they run it back. That's it, man. It's that simple.
You're doing the Kawhi model in Toronto, which is we will take him for 1 year and try and convince him to stay.
And there will be a parade.
We're going to try and convince him to stay with all the great amenities that Sacramento has to offer that he can't get in checks notes Miami.
A very special edition of In Style, Out of Style. Kyle and I have our top 5 sports movies. Need you to chime in with your favorite sports movies and whose list is better than the others. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Ooma.
What was that?
That is business phone bliss with the Ooma cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. Chuck McDowell here again. Over the years, I've seen way too many timeshare exit companies pop up, take folks' money, and disappear. I just saw an ad from an exit company started by a couple of bozos that used to work for me. My advice, don't hire bozos I fire. Want out of your timeshare? I'll send you our free timeshare exit info kit explaining your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free kit. Call 800-995-2929. That's 800-995-2929.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Get ready for a night out with Jordan Davis. It's Country in the Park 2, Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Along with the special guests, Mitchell Tenpenny, Low Cash, Vincent Mason, and Abriana. Make it a family day out with food trucks, games, dancing, and more. Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo with Michelob Ultra. Tickets are available now at CITPFest.com.
Whitey here for Napoleon Grills, reminding you that when buying a new grill, every detail matters. While supplies last, you'll receive a $149 gift with purchase on every new Napoleon Prestige stainless steel grill. The kit even includes the Pizza Lover Starter Kit and much more. And now up to $79 off Napoleon Rogue models. Napoleon grills are built different, built better, built to last with a lifetime warranty and premium steel that boasts amazing quality. Visit Green Acres Nursery today for your best selection of Napoleon grills and accessories.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sacktown Sports 1140. Your home for Kings Talk and so much more.
Live and vocal.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
Zach Chad Jared Williams. Honestly, KD might choose to retire before he played here. Will you stop it?
He would show up, right?
Will you stop it? He loves the challenge. That's why he's only played with 30 All-Stars in his career. He loves the challenge.
I mean, some of those aren't his fault, right? When you have the wizard Sam Presti running your organization, you're just going to fall into some stars.
916 trying to give us some hope. Don't think the Suns are going to get much more than a lottery-protected first rounder for Kevin Durant. I think they'll get more than that, but yeah, I mean, based on what Sam Quinn said, number 10 and Jalen Green. What's funny is it almost feels like it wouldn't happen with Sacramento because of how bad Sacramento's PR is right now. Like the Suns couldn't wear, we gave up Kevin Durant for DeMar DeRozan, Malik Monk, and a first rounder to Sacramento because it's Sacramento. And once you go to Sacramento, like DeMar DeRozan has like a stench now.
Yeah, but DeMar DeRozan has kind of been a play-in guy
that's
for a few years now. It's not like, you know what is actually funny about that is that does DeMar DeRozan, assuming DeMar doesn't play again for the Kings, which maybe he'll be back for whatever happens, maybe they move Levine, who knows. Is DeMar the rare player that leaves Sacramento with exactly the same reputation that he had before coming to Sacramento?
Yes. What I mean when I say stench is that it's doing. I don't think it's based on Kevin Durant. Like somebody will take DeMar DeRozan for a PJ Washington or something like that. But I don't think, even if there's other players, it doesn't matter, right? The headline will be DeMar DeRozan for Kevin Durant, and it'll say and Malik Monk, but I just don't think the Suns want to wear how that would sound, as silly as that sounds.
Sure. I don't know if Devin Vassell sounds a whole lot better.
I'm just saying that's the PR of the Kings right now.
Yeah. I think the whole conversation is fun and silly, and honestly, probably contingent on where KD wants to go, considering it's not some franchise-altering trade. I would imagine they're probably going to have an amicable trade destination. They're not going to send him somewhere he desperately doesn't want to go.
By the way, I don't know if people were keeping up. It just came across my timeline a couple days ago. Lance Stevenson, this is just going to be super random, but Lance Stevenson and Michael Beasley, they're not getting in the ring. I think it might have already happened, a one-on-one, and there was, I think, $100,000 on the line. I don't know if it already happened, but Michael Beasley was talking crazy. They're sitting at a table, kind of cussing at each other, and everybody's loving it. So, I don't know if that happened, but I like that better than the boxing matches.
I believe it's tonight.
Okay, so it happens. It's going down tonight. Stream starts at 4 p.m. Eastern, and I guess it's a full card. This is pretty cool. A full card of one-on-ones instead of boxing matches instead of washed up players. I like that. I like that a lot. So, maybe I'll get around to it and check it out once the show is done. Okay, Kyle, it's time to either make people happy or tick them off very much. I am going to let you go first
with my top 5 sports
and
movies.
What we'll do, we'll both say each one. So we'll both say honorable mention, and then we'll both say 5, 4, 3, and so on and so forth.
So we're going to alternate. You're saying not, I'm going to give my whole list.
You're not giving your whole list.
All right. So I guess I have to see. I have a tough one with number 5. There's one honorable mention for me. And then there's 2, they're so bad it's good movies.
Well, you better be careful.
I'm also going to put on there.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I just got to do it. So outside looking in, this would be my number 6. I'm going to go Remember the Titans as my outside looking in. Also, so bad it's good, that one about Allen's high school that they made.
What is it, When the Game Stands Tall?
Yeah, When the Game Stands Tall. For those who never seen it, just think Remember the Titans, but so much worse.
Very bad.
Like trying to recreate Remember the Titans, but missing the entire point of Remember the Titans.
None of us watched it. Everybody, I don't know anybody from. Well, if they watched it, it's because they felt they had to. Nobody. I didn't even watch the whole thing. Nobody from De La Salle watched When the Game Stand Tall and enjoyed it.
Yeah, I don't think anyone who watched it enjoyed it. That movie was so bad, but it's so bad it's good, because now, as soon as you said you were from De La Salle the first time, it clicked in my mind. I'm like, wait, isn't that the school that they made that awful movie about?
They made it in New Orleans.
Oh, they didn't even film it at the school?
It was not made in it was not made in Concord. It was made in New Orleans.
Wow.
For some odd reason.
I can't wait to see what the budget was on that movie, because
by the way, going real millennial, if those who remember on MTV Two-A-Days, the big drama when we were in high school was that MTV, it was season 2 or wherever, because I think they were in Texas. They wanted to come to De La Salle to do Two-A-Days, and De La Salle said no. They did not want the TVs all over and the cameras. So De La Salle would have been, and that would have been better than When the Game Stands Tall.
$15 million budget, 21% on Rotten Tomatoes for
I
When
don't
the
know
Game
how they got to
Stands Tall.
20.
Yeah,
to
it's
honest.
relevant. Also,
Right.
just real quick, another OLI. This is like my favorite because of how bad it is that I really like it is The Replacements, that movie with Keanu Reeves and Gene Hackman, where they're replacement players during the strike. Just truly terrible sports movie, but it's so bad that I love it, right? Like they get arrested in a bar fight, they're dancing in the jail cell, and then the coach bails them out of jail. Like it's a truly terrible movie, but it's so, from a sports standpoint, so bad, but from a movie standpoint, I love it. So I want to shout out The Replacements also.
All right. My honorable mention, A League of Their Own, Miracle, Mr. 3000, and Varsity Blues.
Oh, Mr. 3000 didn't crack it? You're always talking about how good that movie is.
I couldn't. I wanted to, but I couldn't. All right, Kyle, what's your number 5?
Okay, so my number 5 that I had to go with over Remember the Titans, Field of Dreams. That is my number 5 movie of all time.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. My number 5, judge me if you want. This is what I grew up on. D2 Mighty Ducks. That's my number. I watched it so many times. There's no way I can't put it on.
So that's I've never watched a Mighty Ducks. That's the second Mighty Ducks movie.
Yes, hence the 2.
I assumed that's what you meant, but I can get behind that. I've never seen it, but it seems like no one has issues with it.
No, I mean, it's not going to make anybody's real list, but me personally, if you watch a movie as much as I watch D2, all of the Mighty Ducks really, but D2 Mighty Ducks specifically, when they have to take on Greenland or Iceland, it's got to be on the list. It's got to be on the list.
Wow, it has the same Rotten Tomatoes rating as...
Listen, Rotten Tomatoes... No, it does not. Are you serious?
It has the same Rotten Tomatoes rating as the terrible movie about your high school.
Screw Rotten Tomatoes. They don't understand 90s movies, okay? You can't count Rotten Tomatoes for anything in the 90s. Everybody knows that. Kyle, let's pause right here, and we're going to bang through the next 4 when we return. Right now, let us know who's in the lead. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers, plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us, plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Chargers sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Ramsey is behind the glass, and I'm just gonna add Major League to my honorable mention. Major League should be on my honorable mention.
Still haven't seen that one, but that's one of those where I'm just like, nah, it's too late.
Willie Mays Hayes. I do feel you on some too late stuff.
It's too late for me to watch
Major
Major
League. I do feel you. There are certain movies that it's never too late, but I do feel you. I don't know that Major League should be in your too late category, but I do feel you. There are some old movies where people are like, oh, you never seen that? Yeah, I missed the window. I missed the window.
That's like me with a lot of those like 90s Disney movies like Aladdin and
oh, come on.
Lion King. It's like it's too late for me now. No.
You know what?
I was a Pixar kid, you know?
Let's just continue on. What's your number 4,
Kyle?
Kyle?
Yeah, I think bottom line, I think Major League is too late. You know what movie is not too late? for anyone to enjoy. I'm going to hit myself with it.
Senor Segway strikes again.
You know what movie's not too late?
What movie?
The Rookie, coming in at number 4.
I like The Rookie.
This is not Rookie of the Year, the one with the kid who pitches for the Cubs.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I don't think that one's a good one.
Henry Rowan Gardner. You just don't understand. You don't get it.
I've seen that one. That one
kid
is
played for the Cubs. He was 9.
A World Series champion, which was the most unrealistic part of that movie, was the Cubs winning the World Series.
Okay.
The Rookie, for those who may not know, is the Dennis Quaid movie, also by Disney, about the guy for the Tampa Bay Rays who's like 38 years old and a high school coach that ends up making it to the major leagues. Very good movie. I think it's one of those where I watched it at like my grandma's house as a kid, and so it has like positive memories. I very much enjoy that movie. So The Rookie with Dennis Quaid at number 4.
That's a good one. My honorable mention is getting too long here because now I got Hardball. Got to go on my honorable mention as well.
I think it's okay to have 7 or 8. This is a big list.
I could do a list straight from 90s sports movies. All right. Number 4 for me, not from the 90s. Give me Coach Carter, man. Give me the Tupac. Ramsey, when that Tupac came in at the end, oh my goodness. And they lost the championship. Rich what? Rich man. Give me Coach Carter at number 4.
Okay,
man.
So I don't know what this says about me, but I've never watched the movie, but for some reason my Instagram algorithm keeps recommending Coach Carter clips to me.
You have to.
I feel like I should now because I feel like I've seen 40% of the movie just from Instagram clips.
I mean, you have to do it. What's so funny is they got in trouble and everybody, they had to have a 3.0. Somebody said it wasn't even a 3.0. It was like a 2.7, and there was uproar. He just wanted the best for the kids, man. Timo Cruz.
Got to do the push-ups, right?
Timo Cruz, you had Ashanti in there. Oh, my goodness. Give me a Channing Tatum. Give me Coach Carter at number 4,
Channing
man.
Tatum's in there?
Yes, he is, and he can ball, man.
Wait, is that movie like 25 years old?
No, 2005, so you weren't born yet.
I didn't realize Channing Tatum was in the game at that point.
Timo Cruz, give me Samuel L. Jackson. You're running plays based on his sister's names. Give me Coach Carter at number 4, man.
I like that.
Kyle, what's your number 3?
Number 3, this might be our only overlap. I haven't looked at your whole list yet, but I know you mentioned this before. Number 3, let's go with Miracle, the movie with Herb Brooks and the USA.
That's right.
Miracle on Ice.
That's right.
Yeah, the Miracle on Ice win against Russia. That is a great movie. If anyone wants to watch it, stands the test of time.
So remember earlier this week when I brought up, we were talking about the A's playing. By the way, the A's won, so they broke that stretch of 1916, 1920, and 1943 for now. But remember when I was going off talking about when you play and you earn the ability to play at a bigger arena, right?
Sure.
And I talked about how we lost to Good Shepherd. I was at St. Francis. We played at De La Salle, 8th grade. We lost the championship to Good Shepherd. The day before that game, our coach took the team on a field trip to watch Miracle.
Oh, the movie?
Yes.
Like in the theaters?
And we were all hyped up. And then we got there and remembered that they had 2 8th graders that could dunk, and we got smacked by Good Shepherd. But I still love the movie. I still love the movie.
So the idea was we're going to motivate these 13-year-olds by showing them hockey in the 1980s and the Hollywood version of a story that, like, I'll say the story itself is even better than the Hollywood movie, but we're going to show them the Hollywood hockey movie to get them motivated to play.
And we still got smacked.
Yeah, exactly. To play guys who are going to play college basketball.
We still got smacked, but hey, still a great movie. That was on my honorable mention. Number 3 for me, come on, man. You want to win? Put Booby in. Give me Friday Night Lights at number 3, man. Give me Friday Night Lights.
See, this is interesting because I think people go different directions on this. They either really love this movie or really don't like this movie. There's not a lot of middle ground on Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, I watch every time it comes on. Shout out Permian. Okay, shout out to I actually met, by the way, Billy Bob Thornton we were randomly in Central California. We were at Pismo Beach, right? And separate funny story. We thought my wife at the time thought that we were going to get engaged. Okay, at Pismo. It was her birthday. We went down to Pismo Beach. We had been dating for a while, but hey, it's expensive in California. Her friends were texting her, I think this is it. I think this is it. I'm thinking, it's just a birthday. I don't know what's going on. We run into Billy Bob Thornton. I'm like, yo, this is Billy Bob Thornton. So I'm taking pictures of Billy Bob Thornton the whole time. My wife is thinking, when is he getting on one knee? So shout out Billy Bob Thornton. I met him and I told him, dude, you were crazy in Friday Night Lights. So maybe that's why it's got a special part of my heart. I did take my wife back down there and get engaged about 2 years later. But give me Friday Night Lights at number 3. Kyle, what's your number 2?
I love that Billy Bob Thornton story, by the way. Number 2, you mentioned Friday Night Lights is one of those movies you'll always stop on. I don't really scroll through cable television anymore, but this is a movie that I will stop on every single time. And some people are like, what's the big deal with this movie? I say, you don't have heart if you don't like Rudy, the 1993 classic.
Yeah. Look at Kyle. Look at Kyle showing a little bit of culture here.
Rudy is amazing. Just start to finish, perfect movie, perfect level of inspiration. Give me Rudy number 2. I will stop on that every time.
How did you watch Rudy, but you haven't watched Aladdin or 8 Mile? This is so random to me.
Alan, I'm here, aren't I? Right? Like, how do you think I became this weirdo that I am today?
Because of Rudy?
It's because of watching Rudy and sports movies as a child. But the 90s Disney movie thing is just a generation thing. Because, like, we had Pixar movies, and Pixar movies are all better than those 90s Disney movies.
All right. My number 2, I got to go classic here. Call it what you want. I got to go Sandlot at number 2.
I don't really like Sandlot. I got to be honest.
I can't. It's one step forward, 2 steps back.
I don't hate Sandlot. I'm just saying, I don't really.
What, overrated? Are you going to say that?
I'm not. It's your list, right?
Well, you don't even got it. You don't even have it on the list.
Yeah, because Sandlot is fine, but
you don't even have it on honorable mention.
No.
Okay.
Sandlot is no.
Benny the Jet, the Converse.
Sandlot is no when the game stands tall, Alan.
Okay. The PF Flyers.
No, I understand why
we can't play no more. I
understand why you, a baseball kid in the 90s, would love Sandlot is a great. As a child, I thought Sandlot was a great movie, and then I got older and realized it's fine. I like Bad News Bears more. It's dirtier.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And the one bad thing about Sandlot is he ended up playing for the Dodgers. That's the worst part of the movie, by the way.
Sure.
All right, Kyle. Give me your number 1 top 5 sports movie.
Okay, so number 1 is again not a classic by any. It's a movie that you'll still see on cable television, but it's not a classic. It is the only sports movie in this genre that has ever made me cry, and it's done it twice. So I think by that metric, it deserves to be number 1. We Are Marshall, the Matthew McConaughey 2006 movie about the Marshall Thundering Herd football team in the 1970s that, for those who don't know, plane crash, the entire team, all the coaches die. It's a hugely tragic story, and Matthew McConaughey is the coach that comes in and starts to rebuild that community. It's got Anthony Mackie in it and a few other people. Also, the dad in the movie is the guy from John Wick, which I thought was very funny that the guy from John Wick is randomly in that movie.
Yeah.
Not Keanu Reeves, the other older guy. So I love that movie so much. It made me cry as a child when I watched. The first time we watched it was 7th grade PE during a rain day, and we watched the first 30 minutes, and I cried. I was like, I have to see how this movie ends, and I love that movie so much. We Are Marshall.
Great movie. Definitely, I got 18 movies on my honorable mention, but I did really love We Are Marshall. I'm just really glad that neither of us have The Blind Side on it.
Oh, no.
Is not aging too well here. I see the clips of her with the gun. The G word. This is hilarious.
I'm not allowed to like that movie because of what it would say about me as a person.
And if you do like it, hey, nobody's judging you. Number 1 for me, I think is pretty obvious based on what's left. Strong Side. Left side. Give me Remember the Titans.
Oh, so we do have a little overlap here.
Okay, of course. Yeah, who doesn't have Remember the Titans, man?
It's a great movie.
Another movie that we watched before a game that we subsequently lost. I think we might have won that game. We did it in 7th grade and 8th grade.
It is a movie so good that they made another version of it 12 years later about your high school.
No, it wasn't the same. No, there was no race relations in When the Game Stands Tall.
No, but they tried the same formula of like, we are against the odds, but we're still going to rally together. Even though they won, the controversy was they won so many games that they were going to get thrown out of the league.
And let me say this real quick. Somebody's adding Glory Road. That's a great shout. I'm so tired of these Gen Zers and millennials, by the way, hopping on TikTok to get their clicks off. Say, oh, Remember the Titans wasn't a real movie or it wasn't historically accurate. I don't care. You cannot take away my 8th grade experience. I won't let you do it. I won't let you take away. I'm just saying, he can't cover the ball. I won't let you take away. You're killing me, Petey. I don't care if it wasn't factually accurate. Oh, well, they were already actually integrated and there were other integrated schools. Don't care.
That's not the...
La. I do not care.
Well, this is the point, is it's not about the historical accuracy. It's about the guy from Scrubs and Ryan Gosling coming together.
Ryan Gosling being an absolute trash bag as a cornerback. He is an absolute liability as a cornerback. That's what it's about, man.
Yes, it's about random cameos and a brotherhood that stands the racism of the American 1960s.
Coach Boone. Well, wait, what's the line? Welcome to my life, Yost. Give me that all day. Yeah. I don't care if it's factually accurate or not,
or if the last play of the game was ridiculous.
Give us the game. Give us the movies that we missed when we return. The Knicks asked permission to interview Jason Kidd. So who would coach the Mavs? And if you're Chris Finch, do you leave Anthony Edwards in Minnesota? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
The Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter. Right to your email. Get your latest on the Sacramento Kings, UC Davis, and Sac State with a Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter. Visit sacktownsports.com to join.
If there's one thing we know about dads, it's that they're not easy to shop for. Enter Kohl's. They've got everything from Nike golf gear to his favorite Levi's jeans. And you can save 20% on other finds like Flex Athleisure and Izod workwear. So if you're not sure what to get dad for Father's Day, you know where to go. Shop Kohl's now. Select styles. Offer ends June 15th. Some exclusions apply. Coupons do not apply to Nike and Levi's. See store at Kohl's.com for details.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Giant Summer Sale is here. Get giant savings on our giant selection only at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save during the Giant Summer Sale and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave here for Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room, inviting you to come join them every Wednesday for their midweek madness drawing, giving away $2,000 in total cash starting at 6 p.m. It's a safe and friendly environment, plenty of well-lit parking available, and it's conveniently located right there in downtown Sacramento. And remember, best food, best service, best games, 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents it's local, but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Trey Songz, live. All the hits, all in one night. Trey Songz. Friday, June 20th, the venue at Thunder Valley. With special guest, Jeremiah. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com and see the show. Trey Songz, Friday, June 20th, the venue at Thunder Valley.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sep Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is. Live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sep Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sep's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sacktown Sports 1140.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140
on Sacktown Sports.
Logical Raptors fanatic. We've had a Raptors fan in the chat all day. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the Sack Chat. Logical Raptors fan. Oh yeah, loving basketball. Is that a sports movie though?
I said The Replacements, so we're really stretching the bands when we're talking about. I saw someone in the Sack Chat also said Blades of Glory, which is it's kind of a sports.
Your
movie.
list is your list. Loving basketball, blue chips, rollerball. That's a good one. Rollerball. Invincible is shady good. You got Mark Wahlberg tackling people during Thanksgiving during Turkey Bowl, and then he's playing for the Eagles.
What?
Yes.
I've seen the memes of Mark Wahlberg in an Eagles jersey. I didn't know what that was from. But
yes, it's from Invincible. It's a true story. I'm pretty sure he was basically a punt returner for a couple years. The Eagles were so bad, and somebody correct me if I'm butchering this, but the Eagles were so bad they had open tryouts, and Mark Wahlberg was just he was a bartender, I think, and he went out, tried out for the Eagles, and made it and played a couple years.
Not sure I'm going to watch that one.
I think you might as well.
Not sure that one's going to make it on my on my list.
Jared says no Space Jam. Look, Space Jam will obviously have a special place in my heart, but no. Manjot says like Mike. Come on. I mean, when he lost the shoes, Kyle cried. He's talking about crying during We Are Marshall. When like Mike, when his MJ shoes ripped, I teared up because he was cooked.
Now that I'm thinking of like Mike, do you know about the Nickelodeon Like Mike movie that they made with Kevin Durant?
No.
Oh, you don't know about this?
I have no clue.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, they basically tried to recreate Like Mike as like a Nickelodeon original movie with Kevin Durant, and like the kid switches places with Kevin Durant. Here, a teenage klutz played by Taylor Gray becomes the star of his high school basketball team when he magically acquires the abilities of his hero, NBA star Kevin Durant. But the switch leaves Durant unable to score for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And it's called Thunderstruck.
That sounds like you said that was Nickelodeon.
I think it was like it was an actual movie, but it was
wow.
It was a Warner Brothers movie, but it was like a small budget film.
Because that reminds me of, and we got some calls coming in. I think people want to get in on these movies, but that reminds me of the show on Disney, The Jersey, where somebody found an old jersey in their basement or garage, and when you would put on the jersey, you would become, like back then it was, Junior Seau or whoever. So you would put on the jersey and you would literally become that athlete while playing the game.
Yeah.
The jersey that's incredible. Now, if we go down the rabbit hole of sports shows, we will never get back.
I might play the trailer for you a little bit later,
Lord.
but that movie got
we don't have a lot of time.
That movie got a 27% on Rotten Tomatoes.
See, man, and how that's better than D2 Mighty Ducks is ridiculous.
How the Kevin Durant Thunderstruck movie.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad. See, Gen Z has some gems too. You can make fun of us all you want, but Gen Z's got some gems in there also.
Another one, Cool Runnings. 916 said Invincible and Cool Runnings. Yeah, those are Cool Runnings should have been on my honorable mention. I have 8,000 movies on my honorable mention. Kyle's handling some of these calls. We wanted to discuss the Knicks asking permission to interview Jason Kidd, and apparently it seems like the Mavericks are going to say, "Hey, if you want to do it, then you can go ahead and do it." I think if you're Jason Kidd, I mean, what a career arc, right? Obviously, we know what he did as a player, but as a coach as well, you have an opportunity to coach. You don't really know what's going on with the Mavs, right? Anthony Davis, and look, Kyrie's coming off an ACL. You're going to get Cooper Flagg, but it's just confusing what's going on in Dallas. So if I'm Jason Kidd, seems a bit more stable. You kind of have that old school mentality, but I think Jason Kidd can kind of morph into what the Knicks may need. So if I'm Jason Kidd, am I leaving the Mavericks for the Knicks? Probably. If I'm Chris Finch, so apparently the Knicks are interested in Chris Finch as well, because everybody should just leave their job if the Knicks call. That's how the Knicks feel. Am I leaving the Timberwolves for the Knicks? That's a toughie. Let's look at the Timberwolves, right? Nickeil Alexander-Walker, you might lose him in free agency. Naz Reid might opt out. So unless, can you wait and just see, okay, who's getting Kevin Durant? If the Timberwolves are getting Kevin Durant, maybe that's a different conversation. But Chris Finch, that's a tough one. I think Jason Kidd, even though the Mavs are in a decent spot, the Mavs are in a decent spot as an organization. If I'm Jason Kidd and the immediate future of the Mavs, I could see why Jason Kidd would say, you know what, I think I'm cool off that. But as far as the Timberwolves are concerned, that's tougher. All right, we have a couple minutes before we have crosstalk.
Real quick before we go to the callers, because
Okay.
we're going back to movies here.
Yeah.
I forgot that in the terrible Thunderstruck movie, they get cameos from inside the NBA, like in this movie.
Chuck?
Like Chuck and Shaq and Ernie do a cameo.
I've never even heard of this. 916-339-1140. We think the movie conversation is still cooking. Is this KO? KO wants to be part of the combo. What's up, KO? What you got for us? You like our lists, or were they terrible?
I just joined in, so I don't know what's been said yet or not, but I have another tearjerker football movie. I hope it hasn't been said yet. Thanks for taking my call, fellas. Brian's Song.
Yes. We've seen that on the text line a bit. Brian's Song. Yeah, that's another one. Definitely deserves for me, honorable mention, but I think that's on a lot of people's lists. So thanks for the call, KO. I see Whitey back there. Whitey's going to have some stuff to say, or he'll say, you guys have been talking about this too long. We got to get on something else. Thanks for the call, KO. Yes, Brian's Song definitely needs more than a shout. And that's an 85 on Rotten Tomatoes, people. An 85 on Rotten Tomatoes.
So that's if you combined Mighty Ducks, the Thunderstruck movie, and When the Game Stands Tall, it would be about the same.
916-339-1140. Let's get to Curtis. Wants to be part of the movie conversation. What's up, Curtis? What you got?
Hello, sir. Just have two submissions. Youngblood, 1986.
Okay.
Patrick Swayze, Rob Lowe, hockey movie.
Mm-hmm.
Another hockey movie was Miracle, and it was done with Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell was the coach.
Mm-hmm.
Very good movies.
I'm
getting to submit those.
Yeah, we had Miracle. Thanks for the call, Curtis. Great stuff. We had Miracle. They were on both Kyle and I, or mine was honorable mention, but it was on Kyle's top 5. It was on my honorable mention, but did not have. I'm looking at this Youngblood too. These guys are young, man. You got a young Patrick Swayze. Wow, I need to check this one out. Somebody on the SAC chat is saying, yeah, you can't sleep on Youngblood. That's a good one as well. Spencer is bringing up Bull Durham. Good movie. But I have to make a line when it comes to my honorable mentions. That's my honorable mention of honorable mentions. I did really like it, though.
You do have a lot of honorable mentions.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, Keanu Reeves is in Youngblood. How about that?
There you go.
This movie's got superstars all over the place.
Seeing if any other names are out there before we switch on. Oh, and there we go. See, but this is my 90s stuff. Okay? Somebody said dodgeball. Come on. Somebody said dodgeball. Somebody said, yeah, I was talking to Ramsey about this during the break. He got game. I wanna put it there. My dad's like, hey, sit down. We're watching He Got Game. And that was incredible with Ray Allen and Denzel, also from the 916. But this is more 90s to me. Angels in the Outfield. Look, it's got a special place in my heart, but I can't put every 92 to 97 sports movie made on my list. But man, Angels in the Outfield was great.
Gosh, that Disney propaganda.
That wasn't even Disney.
They owned the team. What do you mean? Angels in the Outfield was Disney.
What do you mean they own it? Oh, you're talking about the actual Angels?
Yes, they own the actual Angels, and so they made a movie, Angels in the Outfield, hoping people would go watch the Angels.
By the way, and this is how we'll wrap it up before we crosstalk with Whitey Gleason, I saw this, and it was a bunch of throwback jerseys and throwback logos, and bringing it back to D2 Mighty Ducks. The worst rebrand in history, the Anaheim Ducks changing their logo. The worst.
Yeah.
The worst.
Well, do you know why they did?
I do, but tell the people.
Because they sold to a new ownership group that was not Disney. And so what the new ownership group did was they wanted to distance themselves from the Mighty Ducks thing.
That is ridiculous. I still have my Mighty Ducks jersey. I still have it to this day.
I think they do have an alternate Mighty Ducks jersey now, but it's not their main jersey.
Come on, man. Whitey Gleason. We get Whitey Gleason's top 5 when he hops in, or maybe we'll hopefully get one. One more segment with you. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
If there's one thing we know about dads, it's that they're not easy to shop for. Enter Kohl's. They've got everything from Nike golf gear to his favorite Levi's jeans. And you can save 20% on other finds like Flex Athleisure and Izod workwear. So if you're not sure what to get dad for Father's Day, you know where to go. Shop Kohl's now. Select styles. Offer ends June 15th. Some exclusions apply. Coupons do not apply to Nike and Levi's. See store or Kohls.com for details.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So we had a huge new business pitch.
Attention, all hands on deck.
When, boom, our only printer was fried.
Up in smoke. Like your chances of landing that account.
Well, I just sent the file to Staples. Devin, the print associate, was on it. She had it printed and bound same day.
So where's the drama?
There wasn't any. Staples made it super easy.
Inconceivable. For the product, services, and experts you need, Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them. They have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go. And that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Whitey here for Napoleon Grills, reminding you that when buying a new grill, every detail matters. While supplies last, you'll receive a $149 gift with purchase on every new Napoleon Prestige stainless steel grill. The kit even includes a pizza lover starter kit and much more. And now up to $79 off Napoleon Rogue models. Napoleon grills are built different, built better, built to last, with a lifetime warranty and premium steel that boasts amazing quality. Visit Green Acres Nursery today for your best selection of Napoleon grills and accessories.
Hot summer savings explode at Maida's Elk Grove Chevy. Save $12,000 off MSRP after rebates. Every new 2025 Silverado half-ton LT and RST in stock. Maida Chevy has similar savings on every new Silverado. One of the largest selections in the Sacramento area. $12,000 off new Silverado. Exclusively at the Maida Chevy Silverado Supercenter. Now that's big, huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
West Rating 2011 renewed. Not available with special financing, lease, and some other offers.
At SMUD, we power business with incentives, strategic account advisors, 50% lower rates, and clean energy solutions. We help businesses thrive. That's our clean power promise. Learn more at smud.org.
Live and local
It's Allen Stiles
on Sacktown Sports.
Whitey Gleason joins us. Yeah, my Friday's about to start, Whitey. Yours is just beginning, kind of. I guess it's already started.
Yeah, it's Friday, one way or
Friday.
the other.
That's right.
Friday's a good day to be working because you know it's Friday. It's not like it's not Friday until you're done working,
That's right.
in my opinion.
What did you think of our list? You have a movie?
I heard you saying, boy, Whitey's going to tell us we're talking about this too long, and I didn't know what you were talking about.
Dang it.
I wasn't even, all I know is you talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah.
Brother.
Well, I'm just saying, it was our top 5 sports movies.
Ah.
Yes.
I think you're the first host who's ever done that in sports radio.
Well,
I've done it a million times
well,
myself.
I would say it's only in Sacramento. You gotta hit the red button.
I know.
In June.
Listen, I know.
Right. I'd like to hit the red. We're gonna hit the red button again in August. Don't get me wrong. But
we were just throwing that around about a week ago ourselves.
Oh, no, see, I lasted longer than you guys before hitting the red button.
Yeah.
There's more. There's more summer specials.
Funny though, the old red button used to be call in should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame, but now you can't even do that anymore.
Yeah. Or, I guess our red button, we already kind of have a built-in red button. I was joking. Somebody responded to one of my tweets yesterday saying, maybe, it looked like an older gentleman, and it said, maybe they should have kept Tyrese Haliburton and traded De'Aaron Fox. That's the red button.
Finding Forrester is my favorite basketball movie.
Okay.
Probably League of Their Own.
Yeah.
My favorite baseball movie.
It's a good one, man.
They talk about hitting the cutoff man and stuff.
That is strange. Neither of us had that.
I had honorable mention. That was my first honorable mention.
Okay.
So they're basically 6.
Never seen it.
Yeah. My favorite football movie is probably Marx Brothers Horse Feathers 1932. I wasn't around, but I know about it.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I've seen it a million
I'm just
times.
saying you know about
It's
it.
hilarious.
You watched it in theaters.
I have seen it in a theater, as a matter of fact. Not when it came out.
Right. I didn't say that. I would never say that, Whitey.
But everyone says, remember the Titans. And that's a fine movie.
It's hard. I
Very
just
good.
am not going to say no because everyone else saying it.
What are your thoughts on Sandlot, Whitey?
I can't stand it.
Why?
Okay.
It's just so. I couldn't suspend disbelief when they were playing baseball by the light of the fireworks on the 4th of July. I'm like, I'm out on this.
Why? What in the world?
I agree with you, Whitey. The older I've gotten, the less I've enjoyed that movie.
Yeah. I didn't see it when it came out, and I was always aware of it, and people would give me, how could you not have seen that movie? So I watched it, did not care for it.
When they're
Field of Dreams, do not care for it.
Okay, well, now we're back.
No.
We're back on the
It's a beautiful story of fathers and sons.
Cool.
But that's just my opinion.
And ghosts and corn.
Yeah. All right. Well, what's your opinion on the Tyrese Haliburton situation? I mean,
the situation?
I just keep saying this is about the organization now. As far as how many times are we going to talk about the same thing?
I don't even care about that anymore. He's just so amazing, and what he's doing, no one's done before. But I wonder this. So many people criticize the Kings for trading Haliburton. Nobody criticizes the Lakers for giving Caruso away, for letting him walk for nothing, for zero.
That is not the same thing.
At least the Kings got an all-league center back.
That is
the Lakers
not the same
got
thing.
Nothing.
Whitey.
He helped them win a championship.
Yeah, he did. And there's certain championship teams that get talked about way too often. Obviously, everybody jokes the Celtics, right? Paul Pierce, they milked that thing. 2016 is fine. We get it. They did something nobody else did. But the amount of people that, the bubble is a really confusing situation, but the amount of times, whether it's Kyle, whoever is on the podcast at the time, they talk about, if they didn't break us up, we would have ran off a couple. Okay. But instead you let Caruso walk and
let him walk for nothing,
Yeah.
Allen. I'm not saying it's the same, but it at least deserves a mention.
It's not going to get mentioned because they have Luka now.
Luka Doncic, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Is there? Oh yeah. This is how we 4 hours, man. This is how we kicked off the show. Is there any world where Tyrese Haliburton, and you know what, Kyle, I'm going to cut the other half because initially the question was, is there any world where Tyrese Haliburton is viewed as better than Luka Doncic and or has a better career? But for you, because you're such a savant of sports, I'm going to remove that has a better career because that's kind of the out, right? So is there a world? Because when people were hitting me up, oh man, Allen, can we talk about what's worse, not taking Luka or trading Haliburton? I'm like, we talked about that. Let's talk about, is there a world where Tyrese Haliburton at some point is viewed as better than Luka Doncic?
Certainly on the board. Let's say this is the first of multiple championships. Maybe he wins this one, maybe he doesn't.
Yeah.
But you asked, is it possible? He wins this one, maybe he wins another one. Let's say Luka's career starts to fall off because of injury or whatever. That's certainly a possibility.
Yeah. And I don't think anyone, the reason I said that back to the listener is because I feel like we all talk about that under the perception of Luka is better than Haliburton, and he is right now, but we never really talk about, well, what if it's not because, Haliburton wore the purple, it's because we saw him. No, it's because Haliburton's actually better than Luka, right? We never really talk about it like that.
By the way, did you see who the Kings were talking with about Haliburton? This was in The Athletic today, a story about, or maybe it was in ESPN, might have been ESPN.com, who they'd been talking to. He went and found a trainer that helped him play with more confidence. The trainer had been working with the Sixers. And so when Tyrese went to the trainer was already familiar with Tyrese, had been watching him a lot because the Kings and the Sixers had been talking about a deal that might send Haliburton to Philadelphia for Ben Simmons.
Man.
So that could have been a lot worse.
Ben Simmons?
Yep.
Wow, what a time.
They just, can we say this? They were set on a plan. Maybe it wasn't a great plan, but their decision, right? And why do you have kids? And I'm not there yet with my little one, but hey, we will tell you what we think you should do, but there comes a point where that's going to be your decision. As long as you have a plan, sure, right? Sacramento, we get on them now for not really having a plan. They made the decision. They had the plan that, great, we have this asset in Haliburton. We think that we can use it to get other things. And that was their plan. They just didn't follow through because the Sabonis part of it, I think they did excel with their plan. It was just all the steps after the plan went haywire.
Did you know that and I think this is not uncommon, the front office polled the coaches on the staff and asked them, if you're going to trade one of these guys, who would you trade? I don't know what the final verdict was, but my understanding is that that's something they did because they weren't sure which one to trade and they weren't sure which one they were going to be able to trade. But I don't think that's really that unusual. You want to get.
Well, I think the other thing that we just
call it diversity of thought.
Oh, yeah.
Unity of purpose.
But that's the other part of this. We can live in a world where you can initially disagree with trading Haliburton, but also be honest that nobody thought that he'd be this. Not this. Not this. Not this.
No one's ever been this.
No.
Yeah.
So how can we say that?
I'm like I've said, I have the receipts. I was against the trade when they made it. It's like, I can show you. So, yeah, a lot of people didn't think it was a great trade. A lot of people thought that. But then, like the beam year, no one was talking about that.
No, zero.
Nobody.
They were lighting the beam and feeling good.
Right. And by the way, Domas, speaking of family, Domas has a new little boy in the family.
So that's 3 now.
Yeah.
Wow. Good for him.
Mm-hmm.
Good for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's on the show today, Whitey?
Today we're going to talk to Jerry Reynolds.
Oh, yeah.
And we're also going to talk to a great all-time Indiana Pacer who went to high school at Hiram Johnson. His name is Darnell Hillman. He's in the Sacramento Sports Hall of Fame. Who is an unbelievable dunker in an era when we didn't get to see everybody's dunks, unfortunately.
I can't wait to listen. My time here is up for the week. Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper, Jay Johnson. They got you. Thanks to Kyle. Great job this week. And always thanks to all the callers, texters, sack chatters. Until Monday, secure the bag like the beam.
Not even close.
Take this, man. You're going to make that next shot.
And this is an honor.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I wish I had your time.